Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
A good Friday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout, live on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports on our 1-year anniversary of us going on the air. We're live on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. People can watch us on YouTube. We're also thankful of all the podcast listeners in the future. Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola, Dean Millard, Jay Milne with you here on the Hangout today. And I just got
Happy
a quick
anniversary, man.
thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I'm an outsider, so it'd be weird if you guys wished yourselves happy anniversary. So I will just say it. Happy anniversary.
Thank you, Dino.
It is awesome to see this happening. And I remember the day that the old station was demolished, and we had a meeting at Silent Ice, and I brought it up. I'm like, we got to look and see, because we were looking at doing some different things as well. I knew you guys would land on your feet, and you guys have crushed it. This is a Shohei Ohtani 485-foot grand slam for you guys.
That is very high praise, so very appreciative of that,
Checks
Dino.
in the mail, Dino.
To also surveyor Brett, Whale and the Wolf went Screamo. What the heck was that on my iHeart feed? I've added a couple new song artists into our feed. Whale and the Wolf is great. But we do also have sometimes issues.
And they only have so much in their catalog.
Absolutely, and we've been doing it for a year. That you will still hear Whale and the Wolf. I think but it's rotated in Revolution Engine and Silence the Machine.
Silence the Machine.
I believe those are the two other artists I've added. You'll hear them a little bit in afternoons and Reed and Jay's show. But we've added just some different music.
That's kind of neat.
It is Screamo. It is loud.
It is kind of neat, though, for different, get a different listen. And
we need a couple bands that aren't metal.
It'd be great if you know of a band that's willing to let us play their music both on our audio stream and during our shows. Let us know. Business at Edmonton Sports. I talked to Bell's. I really like that stuff too.
It's good stuff. And
Sean Bell is gonna.
Yeah, he has a friend that's
a one-man band.
No. Yeah,
I would like to see
he's his
that
own jug band, absolutely.
That's right.
When I was hearing the new artists on our station when I was driving home the other day, I'm like, I wonder if there's any like pop artists in our city and bands are like super synth poppy, and I was like, probably not.
It's gotta be.
No, there's like beats, people that make beats.
Yeah, there's like Rhino rappers and stuff.
Please,
but like a straight up pop, like girl pop band. I'm like
K-pop.
Yeah,
but E-pop.
like Tate McRae.
Yeah, do we discover the next Tate McRae right here on EST?
My daughter's listening to Tate McRae.
She's good, actually. I do enjoy her music.
That's the Zamboni video, right? Where she's on the Zamboni?
Maybe. She does a lot of hockey.
No, but
she does a big hockey fan.
She was at the All-Star game.
Yes,
she was.
She played in it. So
that's right. That's why we did watch
Biebs and everybody else. And just off topic, I thought that was a great idea. I thought bringing in celebrities to your All-Star game.
Yeah.
You just have to look at the T Swift Kansas City Chiefs effect, right?
Yes.
Celebrities bring more people to sports. So finally the NHL got into it.
That's why you're here.
What were we talking about the other day?
I actually thought it was that the way that it was set up, like the Biebs looked like he wanted to be anywhere but there.
Well, that's because 25 guys lined up to take his picture.
I
Did
think
you see
he had
that
some,
part? He's like gets a picture with like Mitch Martin or something, and then another guy comes up. Then another guy comes up, and another guy comes up.
I think he had some health issues going on too at that point.
You have to expect that too.
But then who's the guy? The actor, Canadian guy.
Oh, Will Arnett.
Will Arnett
from Smartless.
Yeah.
And
it seemed a little.
Bublé on mushrooms. Remember he threw the mushroom. Might have been
the highlight.
Yeah,
he admitted it.
And that was a good thing for the NHL because it was a fun thing. It wasn't like he was on crack out on the thing. He made a joke about mushrooms
are better.
Well, mushrooms are actually.
What are you talking about? That's a good look. That's terrible.
No, it was a funny look.
It was a grab clip because he admitted that he was high.
Yeah.
Well,
come on.
I don't think it was that bad of a look.
Doing interviews, I'll point to rock stars, rappers.
I don't think that was a bad look. If he was like, I'm on blow, then it was.
That's a bad look.
Mushrooms is almost in the category of marijuana now, where it's actually being used in medical treatment.
Okay, next EST draft is ranking the severity of drugs.
Yeah.
drugs are bad. Don't do drugs, kids.
They're terrible.
I don't know.
There are medicines out there in them. Like there's a difference between a. Anyway, all I'm saying is it was a viral clip. Yeah. I thought it was good for the NHL, and it brought more eyes to the game.
I'll defend Dino a little bit here. If somebody went up there and went, "I'm hammered," we would laugh at it and be like, "That is great."
Yeah.
Alcohol's not great for you in that sense, but we have it. It's socially acceptable to do with alcohol, but when it comes to certain other things, we go sometimes like, why are we doing that when it was with weed for the longest time?
Yeah. I just thought
that's the one defense. I will go with that one. Is that something like if it was alcohol, we would have been like, this is like if he was. We actually literally said right before the start of the show, one of the best Canadian moments was John Montgomery chugging a beer.
Exactly.
Right.
That's alcohol. That's
now
where,
throw a bong
it's
in that
social
hand
thing,
and it's like a pariah.
So,
but when's the last time somebody's
Yeah.
done a press conference and they've said, "I'm hammered"? You've
true.
certainly seen somewhere.
Have you seen any?
You would suspect
but
that
they don't
are.
say it,
Parades?
though. But
you see any parades lately where they get up on the mic and they're ripped?
That's a totally different situation.
Yeah.
Why? It's
You're
still
not
a
hosting.
microphone.
You're not
You're
hosting
still
an
a
event
mic-
at the All-Star game.
You're hosting your own parade. You're on a microphone
You just
in
won a
front of millions.
championship.
It was
So-
post All-Star game.
So if a guy went up there and said, "I'm on ecstasy," but he's in a parade, it's okay? No, man. It's beer, whatever it is. You're still providing a viral moment.
I feel like I'm in like the Twilight Zone right now.
What?
Well, I will say, like, most people actually love Bublé saying that. People laugh, and I understand, but I completely get where you're coming from. Is that like why are we fully encouraging that to degree?
Yeah, I didn't think it was.
But I think we go a little bit further with
encouraging. Hey, don't go out in
We're not
public and
saying-
do interviews stoned.
Yeah, we're not
But
promo-
Bublé was very innocent in that, and he was very joyful and happy. People were like, "Oh, he admitted to doing shrooms. Don't do shrooms, kids."
Yeah, like I don't think anybody is looking at that saying, "Oh, I'm going to go hire Michael Bublé as my mushroom promoter." We're just thinking it's silly. And we just John Montgomery walking down Whistler with a or a jug of beer, pitcher of beer, was celebrated all over. If you now, even though it's legal, put a bong in that guy's hands, people would be like, "Oh, that's awful." And I'm not advocating anything. I'm just saying, as you pointed out, there's a difference. We celebrate liquor.
Clearly, Maddie's about to have a drink at 9:45 or 9:30.
Yeah. And listen, to each their own. Whatever people want to do, that's fine.
At 10.
I think it's just a little
See
bit.
how this goes.
10.
The whole
9:45
alcohol thing and whatever.
Well,
Anyway,
to be clear, though, the reason we were talking about the beer guy and as we were asking, because Reed Wilkins is just working with him has been amazing. He will get anybody on our show. And like now we have former Seattle Seahawks NFL punter John Ryan coming on our show this afternoon to break down this new kicking rule and how it apparently doesn't do anything. It
Was he a bomber?
I said
he played for the
He was a
Well, I was gonna
Regina
say he was an
Ram.
elk.
Yeah.
Former Regina Ram. Let's put
I
it.
think he played for the.
I want to feel like I want to say Bombers were they?
So then we
Riders.
asked the question. I said he's probably one of the most decorated redhead in Canadian.
Yeah, he started with the
history.
Bombers.
And then that was the discussion. So chime in if we're let's start building a list. Let's start doing this. Let's start putting together a group of redheaded Canadians that we would say would be, the most prolific redheaded Canadians in history.
Oh,
They're going gingers.
Gingies are redheads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gingies. I never heard it called that. I like that.
Yeah.
Gingies.
Gingies.
Canadian redheads. Eh?
Canadian redheads. I mean,
now it's impossible when you put it out
put
there.
it out there,
to
but
think about
the
it.
nasties will come through.
Yeah,
they always
they
do.
always do.
They always do. Tommy, your inner thighs love the camera. Is in from Rip City Step.
Wow.
Thank you.
I just Googled best
They are
Canadian
tanned.
redheads, and there's nothing that just shoots up right off the bat. I will say that, like for Canada specifically.
That's got to be like.
So that's not a good start. So it's John Montgomery.
Yeah.
John.
Yeah, John Montgomery.
John Montgomery, John Ryan.
That's it.
Decorated.
That's it.
Those
That's the
guys,
list.
They should host a show together. Like John Montgomery, my wife watches the
Ginger Fever.
the race, the
Amazing Race. Yeah.
Race.
and he does a
Yeah.
great job with that.
He is an amazing host, isn't he?
He is a terrific public speaker. Like I've seen he kind of goes and does some different things, but you can just tell the way he speaks that he could get up and give an hour-long speech, and I don't think you'd be bored because he's so
And
articulate.
I wonder if he's on mushrooms too.
Hey,
Maybe
you never
on
know.
weekends.
If he's at the All-Star game.
Yeah, 780-218-9999, Paris Jewelers inbox. This text comes in and says, I'm pretty sure Bublé was just kidding around. I doubt he was actually on mushrooms. It was a joke.
I don't think
Maybe?
so.
I don't know.
I think he was on mushrooms.
I don't
The way
think,
he
like,
was
I don't know why you would.
talking,
I don't know if you just joke about, I'm on mushrooms.
I think.
You know, maybe he
took a
just
little
like,
too much.
just,
I
you know,
think if you're joking, you're going to say you're high.
On life.
maybe, I don't know.
But if you're going to joke, I think you'd be like, I'm high. I don't think mushrooms is the go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on shrooms.
I thought it was.
If it's just a joke.
I didn't think it was the worst thing for the
that
NHL.
bad.
Like, and it was.
Matt, I think your point was kind of like it made really good sense in the fact that like alcohol has been treated as, you know, that's okay for the longest time, and now, you know, marijuana is legal. You can, you know, I think there's. I don't know, but like
There's some states where like psychedelics and things like that are legal, like out in Washington, mushrooms and some different.
and really
things.
at the end of the day, I guess the problem is when those are abused.
Of course,
100%.
In any
anything.
respect, right?
Alcohol,
Cigarettes.
yeah, caffeine, whatever. You can abuse anything, and you can overdo anything. So,
I do need to get into a controversy, even though it's the anniversary of EST. I need to get in a little bit of a controversy. The tweet has been deleted. I will throw that out there.
this is
He's
juicy.
deleted it.
No, he didn't.
He deleted the tweet. I don't see it. I don't see it on his Twitter account right now.
Okay, you got to fill me in.
But there has been a Twitter race to 1,000 followers between one J Milne and one YouTube Trev.
I know. I heard about it again.
And today, the boss of this company,
50,000
the
followers.
head of this company, decided to jump in said race with the backing of his 50,000 Twitter followers and the morning show to put his support fully behind YouTube Trev.
Is this like a little bit like Liz Cheney?
Well,
endorsing Kamala here.
The question I have, Jay, is how do you feel about your boss picking Trev over you and not just staying on the sidelines? How do you feel about that?
I'd say he made the right call. I think Trev needs the help.
Oh.
Wow.
Ooh.
I got a fella on with me from 3 to 6. I don't know if you've heard of him. His name is Reed Wilkins, and we are going to smash Trev today, and we're going to smash him right now.
Trev is at 917.
He is. Oh my gosh, he's made up like 50 followers today. I've been keeping tabs on this.
Jay is at 937.
If it
you've got
gets to the afternoon show.
It's got a 20 lead. But the tweet has been taken down by Dusty. We'll say that.
I'm staying impartial. I love and admire both of my colleagues.
I
Jay
just
Milne
was
and
surprised Dusty would pick.
Well, I guess we know who his favorite son is.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Daddy.
Well, that is.
Don't you love me?
He's giving his producer some confidence in that. I
But he's
think.
also the boss of EST.
He also said
And
he
he just
misses Zach to come. That worries me.
Well, Dusty hasn't he's been in the building for like a day and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's Maddie. If
like
he
we
misses
have-
Zach to come in, he'll say, yes, I do miss Zach to come.
I want the whole
Well,
staff
the
to be
work
here.
element of it, sure.
I want the whole staff to be here.
Yeah.
But like Dusty is the head of all of this, and like, yeah, I get it. If it was just his show, if he was just on the morning show, I'd be like, yeah, you're backing your producer. But his drive host now, his co-host of his drive show, he took a shot at him today. I feel like.
100%.
It was, and like, look,
Point taken.
I will say this, if Dusty didn't feel like he did something wrong there, he went to delete the tweet and he left it up there.
That's the point of guilt.
He
Right
deleted
there.
something too.
That is-
He deleted
What if
something.
there was a spelling mistake and he's like, I just don't.
Could have reposted it and
Yeah,
fixed
that's
it.
true.
No, he knows he done to do bad. So, Maddie, yes, if you are listening to this right now and you have a Twitter account or an X account or whatever you identify it as, at Jason Milne, JASONMILNE, this contest will be done one way or another today.
I'm going to go with
End of show.
follow both of them right now.
Yeah.
Go follow both.
Yeah, you can follow Party Boy or at Jason.
No, I say follow both at the exact same time.
YouTube_Trevor.
Yes. The other
He
part to
actually
that too
changed
is
his
if
name
both,
too.
if everyone that goes follows both at the exact same time, you are going to win.
Yes,
by
that's a good point. Okay,
mathematics.
so maybe I should take that route.
So I'm going to go with I think both should
Yeah,
get
you
a
just
follow.
basically run him out of time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're running. It's
Running out the
long
clock.
game.
2-minute warning, no timeouts. You got the ball. You're just going to run it 3 times.
yes.
Don't throw it, but if you throw it,
Yeah.
Trev might get the ball back. That's the key.
Oh, Anne of Green Gables
Clara Hughes.
coming in.
From
Clara
Johnny.
Hughes.
From Johnny. Thank
Wow,
you, Johnny.
there we go. Clara Hughes, because of the decorated career, that's pretty amazing.
And that was in winter and summer
Yeah,
Olympics.
like
A worm on me.
that's like
Followers are trickling in as we
dual
speak,
athlete,
Maddie.
right? Like that's
Yeah.
the Bo Jackson of the Olympics, when you can do summer and winter.
Yeah,
Not
That
just-
is crazy, right?
Not just multiple events. Like it's amazing when you look at the record holders, well, swimmers, right? Because they can go in so many events, or track athletes. But when you can go, hey, I was pretty good in the Winter Olympics at speed skating, and now I'm going to get into cycling. It's like, wow, you could just, I just find it crazy when people can switch like that. Or somebody late in life, Larry Walker got cut from the Regina Pats and then decided to get serious about baseball. And he's in the Hall of Fame. It's natural talent for those people to be able to say, you know what, I'm just going to flip the switch and do something different and be just as good.
I give more credit to a person like Clara Hughes, who can do winter and sport and summer, than like a Michael Phelps that could swim.
Yeah. Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Because it's one discipline.
It's one
Yeah.
discipline. Like, I don't know. All these different
Like if
strokes
Michael
and whatnot
Phelps
in,
all
in
of a
swimming,
sudden-
it's like, can we not just have like a winner take all?
Like if Michael Phelps decided to go into like
guess
ski
that's the
jumping,
freestyle.
that would be pretty impressive.
That would
like
blow your hair back.
Yeah. Be like, wow.
You got a little something on the shirt.
You know what else is
Oh,
impressive?
son of a.
Wow.
Get that cleaned. Get that cleaned.
Oh, no.
Sorry, I just saw that.
Thank you.
You need to
You
get
know-
that because there's a big game tonight.
Do you know what else is impressive? Is the guy, remember Eddie the Eagle? Do you ever know the story about Eddie the Eagle?
Kind of.
Ski jumper.
Yeah.
That like
Is he Italian?
No, I think he was English.
Okay.
And got to like the Calgary Olympics. And like ski jumping is not like, hey, I want to try long jump or something.
Yeah.
You can die in ski jumping.
Easily.
Like it's just like I just couldn't
It's
believe.
amazing.
And they made a pretty decent movie about it, but just that story, be like, no, don't. That's a bad idea. Like don't.
Speaking of John Montgomery, like that's how he got into skeleton. He's like, I want to be at the Olympics in Vancouver. What
he
sport can I
picked a
learn?
sport.
And he tried skeleton, gold medal.
See, that's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Like when you can be like, I've never done this before, take it up and then dominate. Like the Larry Walker thing is the most amazing thing. Wanted to be a goalie, got cut from the Pats, so he's like at 16 or whatever, throws his gear into the corner and then becomes a Hall of Famer. Or the people that say, I didn't start playing football until high school. You know, the coach decided to bring me onto the team, and then they get into the CFL or the NFL. It's like, really? Most of us were on skates when we were 4, 5, sometimes 3, 2 o'clock, playing our whole lives to try to get somewhere. We don't. And then these people decide to just pick something up, and they're like, I'm just amazed at it makes you think, like, what else could they do? Like, it's just incredibly talented people to be able to just switch to something else and dominate.
It
Did
is
you
what
put
it is.
detergent on it?
Wow.
What
I
did you
didn't
do
want to
it?
because the dish soap is blue.
Just put some
Yeah, but that's
tape
like
on it or
that one's
something
the
like
best detergent.
Tape it up.
Yeah, it's
Blue
Dawn.
Dawn
the-
is
yeah.
supposed to be the best, like, and it's different with the
did.
colors.
I caught it early enough, thanks to you.
Yeah.
That I think it's good.
Should we send someone for a Tide pen?
No, it's okay.
We should probably get a Tide pen.
Coffee doesn't stain.
Was it coffee?
It had to have been. That's the only thing I got.
Breakfast sandwich?
Nope.
Okay. There we go. So careful drinking that a little more. We got a big game tonight.
We've
We've got a really big game
What
tonight.
number? Well, he can say that.
I actually can
no,
as
no.
well. I actually can as well.
Yeah.
Tell me. Go on.
Jay?
Well, Chris Morris was here as a guest in the Hangout a couple weeks ago, and
Yeah. I'm aware of this.
and he knighted Matt as a former Golden Bear, current Golden Bear, always Golden Bear, Mr. Matthew Iwanyk. And actually, it's funny you bring that up.
The head coach of the football team knighted me a Golden Bear.
He is
So he has
So
the head coach.
I can use we now.
He has the head coach of what is looking to be
hate
like. No.
Well, it's like anyone that goes to the Golden Bear, like the program, the university.
Did you ever
it's
use
a
we when you were at the Oilers?
Well, it's not about that, but Nate.
No.
Were
This
you
is
a Nate
totally
Ook?
different.
Yeah, I
So
guess.
Matt-
Exactly. So now I get the right to say I'm a Golden Bear.
Like he literally played for the team.
I now have
Matt was
honorary
there in
status
spirit.
to the University
And
of
so
Alberta.
He
I
had
mean,
he
as an
had the
alumnus.
head coach of the Golden Bears sitting right where you are, Tom, and said, "Yes, you are an honorary member of the Golden Bears." And actually, given that this team is legit. This team is going to be chasing a Vanier this year.
Damn right we are.
Yeah.
And we are, Maddie. And
You tell Chris Morris he was wrong.
to just take
Not a chance.
to take it over the top, I also served as the president of the Alumni Association for the Golden Bears football for 8 years after I'd played. So, Matthew, I'd like to take this opportunity to present you something.
There's actually something coming. I thought.
And I'm actually going to make you now. Not only are you an honorary Golden Bear, but now you're an honorary member of the Golden Bears football alumni.
Look at that!
Wow.
Oh well, thank you.
So this is for you, Matthew.
Your career is just taking off. Like you just started playing for the Bears, and now you're an alumni.
Now,
Yes.
I'm not going to argue with C murder.
Oh, I have full legislation to do that. I
Yeah.
sent a message to the board of directors. It's all good.
I did eye roll as much as I could eye roll, but okay.
Yeah,
but Dino, like I know you.
This is a great day.
You're on the show regularly. You pay attention. You've known Matthew for years. Like he has like 114 teams that he considers he's a part of. Make it 115 now, where he has been blessed and anointed.
Are you
by Chris Morris as an alumnus?
Are you and? Sorry to say the term officially here, but are you officially part of any of your teams? Like, you know how Green Bay Packers fans can buy a share in the team? Do you have any of that with any of your teams where you are literally a part of it?
Not in that sense. I could do it with Manchester United, but I don't want to support the Glazers. And Manchester United's on the stock exchange.
A lot of football teams that are doing
Atlanta
that.
Braves I learned are on the stock exchange.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
Steve Sander was telling me about
that's
it because
the massive media group that owns F1.
it's gone up. No, I think I think he said it was like the actual Braves. I don't even think it's Liberty Group or something.
Oh, okay.
I'd have to go double check that one. But this one, like the university one, is anyone that goes, like if you're an alum of the U of A,
Right.
you could say we. I never went to the U of A.
I know.
It's not about playing, it's about not having been there. But now you have to say Chris Morris and the former head of the Golden Bears alum are wrong.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just not
look
saying.
at that
I'm
look.
saying
He knows.
I just don't like it. Like I would never
Yeah.
say we when referring to the Seattle Thunderbirds or
Yeah.
the Spruce Grove Saints, even though
Dodgers?
our company owns. Yeah, but no, I'm a Dodgers fan. I don't wear a number. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not in the lineup. I'm not taking left field.
Get over that. That's
No.
such an old take.
No, it's not.
I don't
As
agree
a
with
fan,
you.
I think a fan could always get away with it.
I know, but okay, but here's
Atlanta
the thing.
Braves holding.
If
Yeah.
you give your heart and soul to that team, covering them.
No.
If you
Never.
Can, okay.
That's the worst part of it.
No.
I'm going to take away.
If you can still be unbiased, if you can still have fair and honest
Using the term
discussion
we,
about
you're
them.
not unbiased.
Yeah.
That takes-
well,
that-
like, listen, like you're around a team for a long time. It's super hard to not get attached to them. But I think as
you
a
were
professional
different because
courtesy,
you
have
worked
to say
for
we.
the team. If you are,
but I didn't say
I know,
we, and
but
I-
you could have.
I
I'm
was
saying
happy.
that's where I could have. But
Who
if you're
cares?
a journalist,
Like,
Lots of
Who-
people. It's integrity.
yeah.
Who cares to you two? I've never heard anybody else say this other than you.
Are you kidding
reporters.
me? You've
It is
never.
a
Okay,
big
like,
part
I
of
guess
it.
it cares
the
to
people, the
reporters.
fans.
There's
He's
lots
saying,
of-
Fans is different. Fans
there's
can
lots
say
of
we till the
people.
cows come home. That's
but you're
their
saying I
team.
can't say we for the Golden Bears.
Well, I'm saying I
Or
don't
my
like
other
it.
You can
fans.
say whatever you want. I just
can't
don't
say
like
we
it.
for the
You can say,
Yankees.
yeah, you can say it if you
shouldn't.
want.
Why not?
I'm not a fan
of the
that.
team. You
Yeah,
said
but
you said
you're
it doesn't matter with the
supposed
fans.
to be a broadcaster.
So it's
But
like
I don't
it's like
cover
an
the
exclusive
Major League
rule
Baseball.
inside the reporters.
working in a gray
Here.
area. Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
When I-
absolutely.
when I
Okay, so
covered
those are
the
the only
Oilers.
people that care about it. I'm just telling you.
That's what he's saying.
There's not.
Like-
There's lots of people that don't.
No,
like
I don't.
we.
I disagree.
Well, no,
with you.
but where,
It's a-
That's
oh,
fine.
it's
where's
a
the
reporters
He's
that
talking
care.
about fans,
Yeah,
like
okay, I
people
get
that
it.
are following EST. Do they care whether we use we
I
or
would say
don't?
most of them probably don't. But I
There you
still,
go.
Yeah.
I work
That's fine.
in that.
But you can't cover
in
the
that-
whole everybody
It's like across the board. That's how it's supposed
for
to be.
reporters.
Broadcasters, reporters, anybody that's like.
I don't even like when
professional
fans do it. I don't. It's my opinion, but I don't
when
like
fans
it.
do it, it is more than okay in my opinion.
Why does that bother you?
Because
Who
they play
cares?
for the team.
Who cares? You support them. You give them your income.
Your time.
That's fine.
Your money.
Oh, come on.
I think when fans do it, it's
I
fine.
just think
when
it's
we
a
as
terrible
broadcasters
take.
do it, I don't like it.
Yeah. I don't like when
Yeah.
anybody does it unless you're actually part of the team. That's just my thing. But
Yeah, I could give two flying you-know-whats. Because if you want to say that's your team,
Fiddlesticks.
if you want to fiddlesticks, if you want to say you own the team, I don't care. Who cares? Like, I don't know. I guess I don't know. It's just I've always, and I get it. Like if we're doing the Elks pre and post, like I will not refer to them as. I'll do my best to hold up some sort of journalistic integrity.
Of course.
But if we're having an open and honest discussion about it, I could really care less.
Well, to me, I will only work on that. I do believe in that a little bit for teams I directly cover.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
The Golden Bears, truthfully, they're not a deep cover. We're not covering them fully, so I have no problem going with
I'm
Weeds
glad
for
we
them.
do give them way more attention than we used to, though.
Yeah, but and that's one that it's not professional level. To me, I don't need that integrity. I'll gladly cheer for the Golden Bears.
Well, you
and
are an
outright
alumni now, so.
I will go outright and say I'm a fan of the Golden Bears.
I enjoy winning their games, and when they score, I'm happy.
I'm a fan of the Elks, but I won't say we. I'm a fan of the Oilers. I won't say we. I do not cover Major League Baseball. I do not cover the Premier League. I do not cover NFL directly. I'm not in those markets. I can't go cover them. I will gladly say the Ravens are my team, and I will use we occasionally.
So, like, Oilers fans, they can say, like, this is our team.
They can say we, absolutely.
Right.
To me, that's fine. I have their heart and souls with the team, that's fine. But if it was like you, me, Dean, and Maddie, and we're like, the Oilers, man, that game was tough last night. Man, our defense was this. We really weren't playing well in the offense. And I'd be like, holy crap. What number were you wearing last night? Like, that's a big nish. Big nish.
Wow, and certainly if you're holding a mic in someone's face after in a post game and you're saying, so how did it go for us tonight?
Right, like that. Well, that would be insanely awful publicly. I remember working.
I think you should do it just to get the views.
Not a chance in hell.
That would be fun.
I remember when I worked for the team. I was Oilers TV for 8 years. It was Kevin Lowe, and it was when the company was expanding. It went from Rexall Sports and Entertainment, which was a really good vibe. Everybody knew each other, cared about each other. I think we had around 100 staff. And, there was like this good feeling to it. And I truly, genuinely loved it. Then it started growing and expanding. Rogers Place was coming on board. It became a corporation, right? 350, something like that. And it changed. But I remember like talking to Kevin Lowe. I think we were in Oklahoma City, and he goes, you're an Oiler, and we're the digital team. And I was like, oh, man, that's amazing to have Kevin Lowe, who I remember watching growing up, coaching the team, all that stuff, say that to me. But then I thought about it. I'm like, but I don't think that's right. I'm an employee.
It's funny, you have a person that's a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest Oilers to play, saying that
and
to
I admire him very much. But I was like, oh, thank you. But at the same time, I was like, I don't feel that way.
Well, once an Oiler, always an Oiler, Tom. So I think you should still go by that.
Ask them that, because I don't think they feel the same way.
I just go with teach their own. If somebody wants to say we, they could say we.
Yeah, that's fine. If somebody doesn't like it, they don't have to like it.
But then don't call someone out for it.
No, I'm saying I don't think it's
but
right.
If it's a profession, if it's on a professional level, it's more than okay to be like, hey, like, come on.
But why do you get to dictate that? Like, that's the thing. Why can't
isn't
new
it a
people
self-check amongst our peers?
that's
but why
an
can't it come in and why
integrity
can't it change? Like, why? Like, there's a thing. There's a lot of people go to the Olympics, and there's a lot of countries their media will cheer for their team openly.
Oh yeah,
that's
they
known
have
in
a
their
lack of integrity.
Well,
Yeah, like
like
there was that-
you, but
Listen,
they may sit there and say, "This is my country. I want to do that." So why do you get to dictate what's the integrity
I'm not
of the
dictating,
media?
No,
I'm
that's
saying
a journalistic
the practice
thing.
that has been
In North
place.
America, but not around the world. So, like an Olympics thing, North Americans will look at the other countries and go, they'll look at those other countries and go, "This is not journalistic integrity." Where they'll look at you going, "No, we have every right to
I
cheer.
don't
This
think
is my
people
country."
covering Manchester United are saying we.
100% they are, or no, maybe not. They're cheering. I follow writers for The Athletic and stuff that actually outright cheer for the team.
Yeah, that's wrong.
They covered one of the big. Well, again, that's you believe
No,
that's wrong.
a journalistic integrity. When you go into broadcasting, you
but
have
now
to
you're
have a
believing
bias.
that. Well, whereas they come from a different world. Where in England, they sit there and say that's okay. So why is it right for us to dictate, or you to dictate to them what's right? And why can't they tell you I'm right?
It's a journalistic integrity. No matter what country you're in, you should report on something without a bias. If you are a fan of that team and you outright cheer for that team, you have a bias.
But you all have
to
biases.
them.
But you have biases no matter what. You like players
Everybody
and things.
does, yeah.
Right. So no matter what, there's always going to be a bias.
But if I like a player who does something stupid, I'm not going to be afraid to say he does something stupid because I like him.
Right, but then there are people that could cheer for teams and do the exact same thing, where they don't have they can put their bias aside and be critical of a team.
I think cheering and liking are two very different things.
I go back to, like, there are people I follow, the Manchester United, like high-end athletic writers that cheer openly for Manchester United. And so now, so why are they wrong and you right?
Well,
Why?
because it's a journalistic thing that you're not supposed to.
To you.
No.
And to people in
It's
North
not to me.
America.
I didn't start journalism, man.
Well, but it started from your era, for people that you've learned from, it's your thing.
Yeah.
But in England, that's not the thing then, apparently.
Yeah,
so
and
why is it
I
right
don't
for
agree
us
with
here
it.
to say to them they're wrong?
I don't, whether it's sports or
don't-
politics or whatever, you're supposed to be unbiased. There are lots of Republican or Democratic reporters that can put that aside, even though that's their affiliation, but they don't openly cheer, and they're projecting the news with unbiased. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people that are fans, and I think that's wrong. I think you're putting your journalistic integrity, no matter what you're reporting on, at risk by doing that, and that's their their choice to do that. But then look at a court reporter that has to cover court. You would hate 95% of the defendants because of what you're hearing about them. You still have to present it
Both
factually.
sides.
It's just it's just a thing that I was taught. Not there's no media police that's going to go give those guys a ticket or anything. It's just what I feel.
But you guys just said that you would go tell someone.
I
said
would
I'm
tell
not gonna
somebody because it's my
dictate to
opinion.
someone.
It's my opinion. I'm not
judge
going to
them.
tell them they're not allowed to do it. It's if their boss thinks that's okay, then that's on that network. But I would never allow any of our broadcasters, even in the JPHL, to say "we" on the air when referring to a team.
Yeah.
We would never at Four Vengeance Media allow somebody to say "we." Even the Saints broadcaster, we would be like, "No, it's the Saints," even though you are in the. And that's our thing, right? Like that. At
I
Four
think
Vengeance,
that point of it is totally understandable, because for the listener, you're keeping it even keel.
Yeah, and you're covering both teams. The Saints is different because you're home, but in a league where you're the broadcaster, like CBC or Sportsnet, you're supposed to be 100% a neutral thing.
Yes, then that has to, and that's the level of I guess integrity that absolutely has to be there. You can't cross that line. I know for a fact, but you can also listen to the official broadcaster of our Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, trust me, I know.
It's pretty biased.
And then that's what.
But they pay for the rights.
That's exactly
right. You
when
gotta
they
walk that
control
line.
the message. They get to and that's them telling those people, this is how we want you to sound and whatever. And there's
Actually, a
There's
lot
an
of hockey announcers and broadcasters.
not everybody's Jack
radio
Edwards.
and
Jack Edwards was easily the
over the top.
extreme
That's
home
Boston guy,
Boston
right?
guy.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
gone. He's retired now. But it's not. It's when you work for the team like
And
that.
a lot of the broadcasts, 95% of them work for the
So
team.
then it's okay.
But that's
not-
a direction.
it's-
That's a
you're just
direction
like-
from the team, though. So that's your boss telling you have to
Yeah.
do this, right? It's a
That,
little,
it's an official NHL broadcast.
but they own it. That's
own it.
their
I
broadcast.
know, but does that make you both cringe?
Yeah, I don't like
if
it.
something said and you're like,
I'm not a fan of it, but it's their
Yeah.
dollar.
Yeah.
They're paying.
Oh, I
and
agree
I
with
also
that.
live in that world, and,
Yeah.
I understand it's tough, man.
You still are an Oiler, Tom.
No,
always.
never.
Once an Oiler, always an Oiler.
And
Kevin Lowe said that.
18-year-old Tom would have loved that.
And that's
38,
that's
not
one
so
thing
much.
where if your boss tells you like, hey, we're the message and we want the message controlled, that's a different thing.
So-
because your employee is telling you directly, this is how we want the message.
Oilers win a Stanley Cup next year. Does the broadcast team get rings?
Yes.
Yeah, my brother got a ring in Vegas.
Yeah? Okay. Then
Yes,
I
100%
think
they
if
do.
you get a ring, all bets are off. Like, then you are officially part of that
Listen,
team, right?
like this
They
isn't
would, yes.
like a Lebowski movie. Like there are not rules, right? Like this is my opinion. There is nobody that's going to go to the Manchester United or remember the basketball writers in the Olympics that had their shirts off and they were cheering or something like that from one of the countries. Like nobody is going and being like, they did take their press passes away.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
There's a
there are
consequence.
consequences.
Yeah.
You are in a press box with people and you say something like, oh, we did this, and you are going to get looks from maybe it's veteran people and maybe the world changes and things, but you will get looks. There are consequences for different things like that. So again, it's my opinion. I don't like it. That doesn't mean a guy down the street can't do it. If he doesn't work for me, that's his prerogative.
I will say this. The first time we did the Green and Gold kickoff show, from Century Casino Bar and Lounge. We then went to the game. Mm-hmm. It was the home opener against the Rough Riders. Okay. And, Matt gave me very, you wear a collared shirt, wear pants, wear, casual dress.
That's right.
No shorts, no flip-flops.
Casual professional.
Make sure you bring your media pass. Don't be that guy. Da-da-da-da. And we get into the press box at Commonwealth and we're watching. And then I kind of made a reaction on a big play. Yeah. And I was like, oh God, did anybody see that? I was so terrified. Yeah. And then I'm kind of side-eyeing Matt to see if he's giving me, what are you doing eyes? But it was actually pretty casual.
I've seen people
but it is a respect
cheer,
thing in that setting, 100%. It's like what YTT was talking about this morning on the morning show about when you took him to the press box. And that's serious business. There's people that are doing their job there, respect it. And I couldn't respect that more. I get that.
In junior hockey, you sit a lot of the times with the visiting team. Like in Red Deer, Kelly Kissio and the Hitmen would be sitting right beside us when I was covering the Rebels, and he's banging on the thing, and he's the GM, whatever, he can do what he wants.
Yeah.
Their players, when they score, they cheer. It's like, okay, they're a team. But if their writer started doing that, we'd all be like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is, you don't want to be cheering or saying, oh, they got screwed, when the guys are sitting right beside you from the opposite team. So it's, in the NHL, that doesn't happen in professional sports, but in junior rinks, the other team is sitting right beside you.
Totally.
And so it's it's just something I was just told, right? The first thing, my brother had already been in media. He's like, okay, when you go into a press box, take your team hat off. You were a Wheat King fan growing up, but you are not a Wheat King fan when you climb up those stairs.
Yes, exactly.
And I grew up as a fan. It would be the same thing. You just have to consciously you don't have to. That's what I was taught.
Right. Listen, I grew up on the north side, Italian north side. Obviously, my mom's a little Polish lady, but my grandpa literally helped build Commonwealth Stadium.
So there you
and
go.
my uncle, okay? I would go to games. I'd watch them on weekends. I've had season seats that I bought on my own for 19 years. Who do you think I like? But when we have to talk about the team, we got to be around them, got to cover them on a broadcast, I got to put that away.
Yep.
I love I can't wait tomorrow. I don't have to work tomorrow. I get to go. I'm going to go see the Nasties at the tailgate. I'll probably have something that has a double E on it. But once you, like you said, your brother, once you climb those steps, go into that area, that goes, take the hat off, take the shirt off, you're there to work.
Here's an interesting story. Before the Winnipeg Jets came back, I wore a Jets toque I went out to a morning skate for the Oilers one day. It was Saturday and it was cold, so I had a toque on, walked in. Mac T came up and he's like, I love that toque. Awesome. If 1990 or 2011 came and I wore a Jets toque into the Oilers, I would be ripped by JJ Hebert at the time or whoever it was for doing it, because they are now back in the league. And when I was covering the Oilers, I did not wear any Jets stuff. I did not. I don't cover the Oilers now, so I don't mind wearing a Jets hat. I don't cover Major League Baseball, so I don't mind wearing a Dodgers hat. But I'm a Bomber. I grew up in Manitoba, Bomber guy. If I was covering the Elks, I would never wear a Bomber hat. It's just my personal what I feel. And everybody is a little bit different in that respect. But that just shows you Mac T was okay with me wearing a Jets tee because they weren't in the league and it was retro. Look, you're doing it again.
This is just pants. It's not the way shirt.
This is like
those lids.
Look at his lid.
Oh, the lid is off.
I was befuddled by the lid.
Wow, you got lidded. So anyway, it's just.
But you're right. Like, listen, I like the Arizona Cardinals. They're my team to cheer in the NFL. If I have to cover them, I'm not wearing Cardinals stuff. I'm not.
I think that's like pretty like 100%. Like that.
But that's not what we're saying here.
Right.
We're not saying wear the stuff there.
Loosened up a bit too, but like
for me to say we from Manchester United sitting here in a Hangout in Edmonton, what's wrong with that?
I like to give
there's
you the
nothing
gears.
wrong with it.
but
I just don't.
I'm not saying there's
sure,
anything wrong.
but people will call, like you guys will call me out for that.
No, yeah,
but
I'm calling you out because I don't like it. That's just a personal thing. I'm not saying you can't do it. And even as
calling someone out is saying that they can't do it. That's my point
calling
there.
someone out is saying I don't agree with it.
Well, nobody's ever going to call you out on your Bears stats.
Like I'm not.
Well, they just did.
That's
How this all started.
They don't get to make
I
that
could say
decision.
I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm telling you to cease and desist. I'm not
Well,
sending
right,
you a
but
letter
why
from
do you
my
have
lawyer.
to tell someone that they shouldn't do it? Now you like.
Why do you have to tell somebody you don't like the Chiefs?
What?
Yeah.
Well, the Chiefs played the Ravens last night. If you were telling somebody you didn't like the Chiefs,
I didn't tell anyone that.
on this show yesterday, you were talking about somebody was going to be wearing their Chiefs on.
Oh, Haas, that's
Huss.
where him and I are joking about
I
because
know,
that was
but
going
that's-
on with that.
it's the same- it's the same-
That's fan banter. That's still
Exactly,
fan
yeah.
banter.
But you're still
But-
saying you don't like something. You're not saying don't cheer for the Chiefs. You're
Yeah,
just
but
saying
so-
I don't
but-
like it. Same thing with
But
me.
sometimes you could also just hold it in and not tell someone to make them, like that's my point here. Is like it's your thing being
So you
parted
want
on
us
me
to
all the
hold
time.
our opinions in on the Hangout?
No, but like all the time, like I'm saying, if the mics were away, like the moment I just said weave there, it's actually a joke between Jay and I. Like I'm just using this as an example. It was an immediate like jumping on me.
Wow, Maddie's getting self-conscious here. Oh.
No, I'm just like that's where I'm coming to. Like there's this thing from the old guard of media that you can't do it at all ever.
You shouldn't.
But
yeah.
but you
And
wear a
that's
Dodgers hat, you wear a
pollution.
Cards hat, you wear a Dodgers hat, you wear a Cards hat.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come up to you and be like wearing a Dodgers
No.
hat. I don't approve of that.
I can be a fan, but I'm not.
So if I see you wearing a Dodgers hat, I come by, I'm like, really wearing a Dodgers hat? I don't approve.
No, I don't cover the team. I didn't say you're not allowed to. I said I just don't like when people use we as them being part of the team.
And I don't like anyone media then wearing other people's team's hats. So I could come say that at any moment. Like
see where this
that's
is going.
that's the example you've made.
Yeah, you can say whatever you
So-
want, just like I can say whatever I want. It doesn't mean that you get a cease and desist, man.
No.
That's what
I hope you
sports
wear
and
that
life
jacket
is
all winter.
all about.
I'm wearing that tonight.
Good.
Like that's what
very
life
kind
in sports
gesture.
is all about. Is
Well, no, but
you
the-
don't
the-
like
the-
something, and then
It's just that old guard of media. I just feel like it's slowly going to change.
It has changed,
And it's
that's
starting to
in
change.
a good way.
Like I'll go back. Michael Wilbon goes on and talks about how he's a Bears fan. Right on a broadcast of PTI, one of the biggest sports programs in history.
But when he
And
has
if-
to write about the Bears, I think he's professional.
He
you
hasn't
can
wrote
do
about them in a
both.
long time.
You can
but
do
that's
both.
media. What's the difference?
You
He's
can do
covering
both.
this. He's still covering the Bears
That's
on
fine.
PTI.
If his boss
and he
is
comes out
fine
there and
with that.
says, "This is my team."
I've been an
and that's where this
Eskimo
is-
Elks
like-
fan my whole life.
If his
I have
boss
been
is fine
very
with that, there's no
difficult and
problem.
very critical of that team this year. Very critical. I said that Beatty should be cut after week 4.
Yes, you did.
Like I went on like you can be both, and I think if you are actually engaged in the team, you have a heightened sense to actually be quite serious and literal in your takes, knowing as connected as you are to the team, following them as much as you do, if you can separate that and call things out as they are. Like I had to text Dustin after one of our post-game shows and say, "Can you listen to that to see if you think I was too hard?" And I said, and his answer was this. He said, "No, because they do stink right now."
Yeah.
Like that. I feel, at least in my
there's some
limited
people that can
experience
pull it
here,
off,
is
and
that
there's
you can
lots
do
of people
both.
that can't. There's
Yeah.
more. I'm going to
Yeah.
guess there's more people that can't be a fan and be unbiased than the opposite. And I think it's probably changing a lot. And I don't know what journalism school would ever not teach that.
Yeah.
Mina Kimes is a Seattle Seahawks fan. Well-known Seattle Seahawks fan. I think she's the best analyst right now in
That's
football.
where I think it's changing a little bit.
And that's
But
my
I think
point. But it's going. But
But I'm
and
saying
we have
I
to
don't
be
think-
open
I
to
think
that. We have to
that's
be
the
open to that.
exception to the rule. I
Right.
think there's more people that can't separate it than can. So
Because
If
we're also
Mina-
like pushing down on the people that try to celebrate it as opposed to maybe trying to work with people to figure out that balance.
if Mina Kimes talks about the Seahawks and she's very fair and unbiased in her take professionally, that's an example of how to make it work. How you can do both.
Well,
Right?
you
But I think
guys are-
that's the exception, though. I think there's a lot more people that think they are doing it, but they are not.
Well, like you said, Tommy, I mean, geez, you're on the friggin' sidelines of
Yeah.
some of the Elks games.
Yeah.
Doing a broadcast for TSN. And, you have season seats. You can turn it off and you can do it.
Yeah.
Right? And you can be both respectfully.
Right.
And I think that is a level of professionalism 100%. Right? Because, but then you look and I do agree, like there is absolute, I mean, NFL is the king in North America. Let's not kid ourselves. And you look at the broadcasters and the pregame hosts that are on that, they all have affiliations with You know, I mean, even okay. Let's bring it to CFL. Milt Stiegel's never not picked the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to win a game. He is outright biased as them. I get it. He's a former player.
Former players are a little different,
right? And now he's a broadcaster. But I think that adds a little bit of humanity to it as well.
If Milt Stiegel became a play-by-play guy, it would be that would be wrong. As an analyst and a former player, there's obviously rope with that because they've been in the trenches. But when you transfer into a describing of the game role, or say an anchor or something like that, I think it's different. Again, this is all a personal preference, and I think that Mina Kimes wouldn't jump up and cheer in a press box, so she can probably do it properly. But there are a lot of people that don't. And the thing that I worry about is, oh, a young person sees this person doing it. Oh, they're a fan and part of the team. I can do it, but they're not really doing it, and it looks bad. So I just think it's a slippery slope. I was always taught one way to approach whatever it is you're covering, whether it's a city council meeting or a school board meeting or a press conference. There's lots of people.
And that was 100% unbiased.
You want to go into it saying, I want to hear the facts before not going into it saying, I can't wait till this person says this so I can use that clip. And I've interviewed lots of people that I did not like personally, that I would have, just loved to seen this person get their comeuppance. And it's like, hey, I have to put that aside. And, one time we were in the newsroom and Kevin Carrier said something about the Oilers not winning. And I'm like, whatever. And he's like, well, you don't want them to win? I'm like, I'm not a fan. And he pointed out a difference. He's like, yeah, but if they go farther, it's better for us. And then, so in that sense, you're hoping the team does well because your city can celebrate and things like that, but you're not an outright fan. And I thought, okay, there's a little bit of difference. So would I wanted the Oilers to do well? Yes. Is it because, 8-year-old Dean was an Andy Moog fan? No, it's because, our ratings could go up or better, the city could celebrate and things like that. Yeah. So there's a difference between wanting the team you cover to do well because it's good for a lot of people and outright cheering. If that makes any sense.
I want my former colleagues at OEG to get the Stanley Cup ring. I want them to celebrate, especially the ones that have been through all those terrible years and that were there since the decade of darkness and then some. I want the best for them. I wanted to see them celebrate after Game 7. I wanted to see the city celebrate. I wanted to see my friends who have been long-suffering fans celebrate. Would I party with them? 100%.
Yeah, and just see what happens when that wins.
For the players that I know and I respect and have good relationships, I would love that. But me personally getting my own joy out of it.
But there's a little bias that's always there.
Of course. Then
that's the thing. There's always going to be a little bias for you. Like, it may not be for the team to be successful, but for you personally, now there's a bias that you want the Oilers to win because it's better for business.
Yeah, I want the city to have success, and because it's
that's always been there in media. There's always a
but there's a massive difference between wanting the team to do well, in a sense, for the greater good, as opposed to wanting this player to do this and whatever. I just see a big difference. You're not cheering for the team. You're hopeful for the city.
Best result,
and the surrounding things. Because a lot of that came with it was an incredible summer. I mean, I'm not an Oilers fan. I'm a Jets fan, and I don't cover the NHL anymore. So I was still caught up in the hype. I wasn't sitting there cheering every time the Oilers scored, but I was like, oh, this is getting better for the city and better for the city and
awesome.
The people and that sort of thing. So even as a non-fan from an Oilers point of view, I was still excited for everybody that was participating in it. And that's good for the city, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. That's what I love about it. There was a text that came in earlier I want to get to, comes and said, question for Tommy, but I think it could go out to all of us. Did you find that you had the sports fan beat out of you? I was in the industry a short time, found it took time to get my sports fan back. I'll just answer first. No, I still love sports. I watch them every day, multiple sports, different sports. The teams I like the Cardinals, I obviously watch the green and gold. I have to watch the Oilers. But I found the only thing that has changed is how I watch hockey. And a little bit football, covering it more, especially lately. But hockey, I can't watch as a fan. I remember between my time at OEG, then joining the crew at TSN. I went down to Phoenix and visited my parents at their place. I went to like 3 or 4 games because my buddy was working for the Coyotes at the time. And we had great seats, took my parents, and I was watching those games, and they would like cheer for the Coyotes. Like that was their second adopted team. And I was like, I'm like, oh, that was a terrible breakout. Oh, that guy, bad pinch. That I don't think is going to change. Like the way I watch a game, but the fan in me hasn't been beaten out of me as the question came in. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I don't watch a lot of Oiler games anymore. Doing the post-game show during the Decade of Darkness, that was awful because people, and you saw it on the text line, people with, no names and whatever, anonymously.
Aliases,
It was a combination of the team was awful, and if you said something good about him, you were a homer, and if you said something bad about him, you never said anything. Like, it was just so extreme. So that part kind of just made me think like, Jesus, I don't even want to watch that team. So I didn't watch the Oilers for a while. But I watch the game now from a broadcast eye, be like, oh, that font was missing, or this clock, just different things, and you can't get out of it. And people that
it must be terrible.
It's hard. My wife has a background too. She used to run Aquila Productions, and it's the same thing. We'll be watching something, and it's just like a game of who can pick out the thing, and it's annoying
who can find
because
the screw up. Yeah.
I'm missing the part of the game or whatever. But you do get to a point where, like, I don't watch the game even when I watch the Jets, I watch the game and it's like I'm muted because I'm never really. Now, when the Dodgers won the World Series in 2020, I was happy. Again, I don't cover Major League Baseball, so that was the thing. But for even watching NHL games, I'm still a little bit muted in my, I don't know, celebration. But like, I watch games at home, so
yeah. I screamed at the TV last night watching the Ravens Chiefs game. Like, I was howling at the TV. Like, what was that?
I was howling too because I drafted Xavier Worthy in my fantasy pool.
Great pickup,
and I got him late too.
Great call by Trev for the anytime touchdown. Good job, Trev. Round of clicks for Trev.
It is weird how you do adapt to something a little bit. Even people that like I'm starting to work with now, they're watching. And they don't have a broadcast background, but they've been involved in our broadcast. And the commissioner of the JPHL, Richard Nolte, is like, yeah, I'm noticing things when I'm watching other games. I'm like, yeah, sorry to ruin sports for you because you watch with such an analytical eye. Or I'm watching an interview with somebody and I'm paying more attention to the question than maybe the answer because that's the thing that you do.
Oh, boy.
It does definitely change how you approach the game,
True.
I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe not takes it. I don't know if it takes the love out it, but it takes I watch the game so much different than pre 1997 when I got into broadcasting, where I was just watching the game, having fun. Now I'm not just analyzing the play; I'm analyzing the play-by-play guy and this and that and the other thing. So,
Maddie,
hey, Dusty, can we get that in here? Yeah, this is unbelievable.
Hey guys,
whoa! Look at this. Oh my gosh! Yes,
bring it in.
Dusty, Maddie, you might have to.
Oh, it smells fresh. Here, let's hold it up, man. Just hold it up.
whoa!
Oh baby,
That is nice.
what?
That's legit.
Yeah,
Round of click.
wicked.
Yeah, so
That's an Adirondack chair. It's an EST Adirondack chair.
with all the show logos.
All the logos. Round of clicks for William Huff.
Round of clicks.
Thank you. Wow, this is amazing.
This is pretty
Wow,
awesome.
And everybody's here. Claire from South Fort Chev is here. That's the presenting sponsor of the Nielsen Show. William Huff is here with
Bruce, you want to come on?
Yeah, come on, Bruce. Come in here.
I mean, you've been supporting us since day one.
Yes, have a seat.
Yeah. Sit.
It's gonna make a noise when you sit. Don't worry.
Yeah. Sit lightly. There you go. Matthew's finishing up. There you go. You see it does that. Pull that mic nice and close. Bruce Simpson from William Huff. Thanks for the Adirondack chair. Who came up with that? That was your idea? This was all you?
It's actually Lindy's idea.
Lindy did? Thank you, Lindy.
We're
Round of
slow in
clicks.
January, so she
Beautiful.
came up with ideas so we do it for nonprofits and raise some money in their auctions.
Love it.
That thing's awesome. Absolutely fantastic. We're talking about media stuff. You're on the sidelines with me.
I am.
Yeah, I try to stay unbiased, even though I'll be in my seats tomorrow.
Are you sitting tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, I work beside Evan, so I have to be.
You have to be a little bit.
Yeah, he's a pretty calm guy. He
Yeah.
doesn't get.
He is. Yeah, he is.
gets a little
very-
excited when the games get funny, but he's a pretty calm influence.
Like, and so when he's actually part of the organization and the team, so he has a vested interest in winning or losing. I have no problem with team employees that have a vested interest in that. We were just talking about whether, if you're in the media, are you still a fan or whatever, and where that line is. And obviously, it's been great over the black and whites in the last 20 years or whatever. I come from the old school that, when you put your reporter hat on and take off your other hat, and you still can't not be that little kid that cheered for the team, but there's the best people, like you talk about Michael Wilbon in Chicago, the best people can do that to the best. Bob Cole, was a massive Leafs fan, and I never felt a bias from Bob Cole ever watching those games. Like, I thought he did that perfectly, and Vin Scully was a New York Giants fan and got a job with the Brooklyn Dodgers, the LA Dodgers. Their biggest rival is the San Francisco Giants. That was his fan. You would have never known that ever. So the best people can do it. And, you don't think Harry Carey was a Cubs fan? Of course he was. There's guys every once in a while that blur those lines, but the best people can do it, and you would never know they were a fan.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I like my.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, even when I was in Victoria for Touchdown Pacific last weekend, and BC and Ottawa. I have friends on both teams, but.
What was that atmosphere like?
I just wanted to leave. I was working the game. It was a job, and once we.
What was it like? Was it pretty good?
Cool. It was different. It was kind of a typical Dwayne Vanneau party. So they had the party sections where people behind us didn't even have a view of the field. Like my tent, where I was situated, right on the corner of the end zone, there were people 20 deep behind me.
Oh,
They're just sitting there drinking and partying. They kind of watched the odd play on the scoreboard, but had no vast interest in the game.
What field did they hold it at? I don't know what field they would have used.
I forgot what it was called.
And they had a video board there, too?
Yeah, they brought that in.
Okay, I was going to say. Because
The
they just have junior football on the island.
yeah,
That's the
this
highest
was their
level.
baseball stadium, so it was Royal something. This is where the Riverhawks would play them.
Victoria's Royal Athletic Park.
Okay.
Athletic Park. So they converted it into a football stadium. It's kind of cool. But, yeah, I'm sure it cost them a lot of money to put it on.
Wonder how different it was from the Touchdown Atlantics that they've had in the past, where it seems like those were really celebrated.
Yeah.
Similar. I'm lucky to get to do those because I do a lot of work with the league. So very similar. They had I hadn't been in Victoria, I think, since I was 10 years old. So it's been a while. But around the main wharf or whatever it's called, they had a festival, like a mini Grey
cool.
Cup festival.
That is cool. I like that.
We walked it Friday night, and it was fairly busy, actually.
Do you think the CFL would ever do a non-CFL city Grey Cup? Like, could you ever take it? Like, I'll use like just go to the States. I wouldn't ever do that. But is there a market in Canada that would be a good like if you went to Atlantic where you're trying to put a team in there, could you ever have a Grey Cup out there?
Not enough seats.
Yeah, not a big enough stadium.
Like, ticket prices are ridiculous. I was looking at Winnipeg ticket prices for next year, and they're ridiculous.
Already?
Have they?
Yeah, it's like $200 for the cheapest ticket.
Wow.
Which I just think it's way too high. I think the cheapest ticket should be probably around $100 to get into a Grey Cup. But if you go to Atlantic Canada and you go to a 20,000 seat stadium, those prices have to shoot up even more so they get their
That's
money.
a good point. And there's not any other
It's hard to get out
city
there.
that doesn't
Yeah.
have
No,
a team, really.
exactly.
I think so.
And then, like, the big question is, like, would the Super Bowl ever take it to London?
I could see that happening.
I think Americans would be up in
they
arms
would.
over it, but the NFL will do it one
I
day
think
because
the
they don't
NFL
care.
doesn't care. Exactly. The NFL.
And that means kickoff is at like noon.
Yeah.
I could see the NFL doing maybe they do like a conference.
That'd be wild.
That would be crazy though, eh?
final.
Yeah.
Like they're in Brazil tonight, and basically they've told everybody stay in your room. Like, do not walk around, do not do anything. Hotel, stadium, go home.
Wow.
And so, if you're like a bunch of the players' families didn't come on these trips, but I'm with you. I think the NFL is so bulletproof and cocky that they're like, we can do anything we want. We're going to play the Super Bowl on the moon this year. Like they're literally almost bulletproof with what they can do.
The flip side to that in soccer, I know there's a little bit of talk of taking Premier League games to the U.S. And actually, Bill Foley, who owns the Golden Knights, but he also owns a soccer team. I can't remember which one over there. He said this week he doesn't want to see that happen. But I think a Champions League final, which is the Super Bowl of European soccer, I think one day that might come to the U.S. And again, that's going to piss off Europeans going, this is a European championship. Why do I have to go to the U.S. for this?
Totally.
A lot of those teams are coming over and doing U.S. tours too. Like a lot.
Oh, they do it in the summers.
Yeah.
But that's their preseason.
That's
so it'd be
right.
like the Oilers taking their entire preseason to Sweden.
But I think that's just the first start of that, where you will see something come to North America because you bill it as, hey, come celebrate with your team and have a trip to North America. Like I don't know if the NFL does that when they bill it. They're just relying on like the people in Sao Paulo or London or wherever.
Right.
It's not as much of that with the preseason tours as it's.
No, but I'm saying to see like if a Champions game.
Oh, that part I see.
Like, would you bill it like? I don't know if Europeans would be like, screw this. I just want to go to my local pub and then to the game, right? I'm just going off what I saw of Ted Lasso,
routine,
so I don't know. Which is coming back.
That's real, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Weird, eh?
The way they ended it, I don't know how you could return it.
Well, the way they ended it, I thought it was going to be like Roy and a few other people
'cause Ted
taking over the
Lasso's
show.
back.
And now Ted is coming back.
So I don't get
I'm
that.
glad. I love that show. That show actually made me feel good. Like, there's times where you're not feeling good. We would put a Ted Lasso show on and be like, man, Ted made me feel good.
Yeah.
Like, it was really, and it was a fun, good show. And they tackled some serious issues in a way that you could be like, that's interesting, and not so. Anyway, I liked it, but I'm with you. I'm a little bit curious of how they're going to revamp this.
Yeah.
Interesting.
My daughters, we're trying to convince my wife to watch Ted Lasso. She does not do sports movies or comedies.
Did they convince her?
Yeah.
It's less of
Did they
Dancing
convince
with
her, though?
Stars and Bachelor.
Oh.
it's a reality show.
We got her into Ted Lasso, and she was first in line to watch it.
Wow.
that's
It was pretty
great.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, she loved it.
And
'Cause
that's the thing
It
is,
wasn't soccer, right?
It's
it was
not.
life.
It's life,
Yeah.
but it's based on and the way they based it is so because if you just decided to make that show with an English guy as the coach, it might not have been as. But it's the hook that this guy was a football coach. They hired him, and she wanted. Well, I don't want to spoil it for people if they haven't watched it, but the way they set it up was so well done.
When you're talking about earlier about going away, having the CFL go away, you guys would have still been in junior high school. Back in 2006, there were plans to take the Grey Cup to Mexico.
What?
Was there?
Wow.
Yeah, coming off the Winnipeg Grey Cup.
Breaking news here.
Wow.
Wow.
That was a long time ago.
I would have been at
27
Global
years
then.
around the
I would have
league
been at
now.
Global then. I might have been going to Mexico for the Grey Cup
They were
because
talking to the league office about that.
05 I was in BC. Wasn't it? No.
Yeah, it was Edmonton, Montreal.
Edmonton,
Yeah.
and they
Oh,
Edmonton won and over because that's the Danny
That's one of the
Machocha
greatest.
premature celebration.
Yes. Yep.
Greatest highlight of all time. But that was 05, and that was a great. So the next year, I might have been in line to go to Mexico. That would have been nice.
Yeah, it was.
I think that could work to a degree.
But
Because people travel for the Grey Cup no matter what. They go for the festival. There's a lot of people that go to. It's not your team that you go follow.
Celebrate
You
the
just
game.
go to Grey Cups. You're going to Grey Cup.
Oh, as you said,
People
Spirit
wanting
of
to go
Edmonton,
partying
it's
in
indoors anyway.
Mexico.
Yeah.
I think they would. I'd just be hard to do the festival city part of it. I guess to try to connect with.
Yeah.
with the,
You have a resort. You're at a resort. Maybe you just. I don't know.
But
It's
can
an
you like?
outdoor
Can you, how do you
festival.
do Spirit of Edmonton here and the BC Lions over here,
All
and
on
the Calgary
beach.
Stampeders? I
Just
think.
have tents on the beach.
tents on the beach.
Maybe.
It worked.
But
Cabana. This is the Spirit of Edmonton Cabana.
I think you might be able to convince that could fly a little more than I
See,
thought.
And that's where I think a Super Bowl could go too, because it's still technically attached to North America,
North
and
America,
things
yeah.
like that. So I wouldn't be surprised. That's why I was asking if you could do a Grey Cup in a neutral site, but there's just not enough big enough
Not enough in
neutral
Canada,
sites
yeah.
in Canada that don't already have a team. So you would have to go somewhere like that, which would work. I mean, who doesn't want to take a November vacation to Mexico? Lots of people do it already.
Yeah.
Like we might host an event down in Mexico at some point. A little independent minor hockey tournament. I would like to get that assignment.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
All set for
I
tomorrow?
know before when I used to do, before virtual logos, I did all the field logos.
Yeah.
And painting in the middle of the night in Winnipeg.
Oh, jeez,
is very
eh?
difficult. Like the last one in Winnipeg.
It was
20
freezing.
What was it, 20?
They had it 2015. Edmonton won
2015,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
We were in the middle of the night and it was minus 40 something.
Oh.
And our paint, the tips would just freeze.
Yeah, everything.
So we would hold our wand in a bucket of boiling water. And one time, I wasn't really paying attention because my hand was in there. But it was so cold, I just thought, I didn't feel my hand was numb. So I didn't feel it. And then I went to bring it out and started spraying, but I couldn't release the handle because it was frozen to the...
Oh, wow.
So we had paint everywhere. This is like, 3:34 in the morning. As long as the fans don't see it, you don't know what
That's
we go
right.
through,
Yeah, exactly.
Sacrifice. Maddie, you
So
were gonna ask
getting ready for tomorrow, like how much does that goes into that?
Yeah, because of the
'Cause game day.
concerts this afternoon, we're to set the LED back up. The LED went to Victoria,
Okay.
so we packed it up after the last game, and the Elks rented it to the BC Lions. So that's why I went out to run that for them. So we set that up. We got to do Wall of Honor today, and I got to paint the center field logo, the two end zone logos, and I think that's
Are they doing
Probably.
logos? Because remember, they were kind of the throwback diagonal lines.
still got them.
Still got them. I kind of like that, actually.
Yeah, I saw the city painting them yesterday.
Okay.
So they're numbering the field right now, but yeah, for my stuff, we're there all afternoon into the early evening, and then ready to go. It's gonna be a nice crowd tomorrow. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be a nice day to do it.
yeah.
At least it's not minus 40 as you're doing this today. You know.
Yeah, it's a treat.
Degrees.
It's a tough logo.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a tough logo, Evan. Thank you.
it's an awesome, the 75th anniversary logo. Yes, tougher for the crew at William Hoff and Bruce and the team. It is a nice logo, I will
is
say.
a
A lot
nice
of
logo.
very thoughtful, a lot of layers to it and character and stuff. They're wearing the uniforms tomorrow.
And there's news from it after.
There's what?
There's news for the game tomorrow.
Oh,
you can ask
nice.
your question.
Okay. I was gonna ask Bruce this because, I know we're getting more information about those renderings and information. Alan Watt was on the morning show yesterday saying he knew about there's the plans and they just need the funding for Conval. What do you think of all this? Because you've been working and around this stadium for a long time, hand in hand with the Double E. What do you think?
Yeah, I've seen those before. In 2014, when we had the Women's World Cup, I think it was 2014.
Yeah, 2014-15 around there.
They hired a consultant from Manitoba, and she did renderings of the entire area. It was gorgeous, but it was into the tens of millions, and I still see the pictures.
Yeah.
But, it'd be very good. I know that there's, listen, we're always trying to improve it. There's budgets to work with, maybe not as much anymore. Seem to have more money all of a sudden, which is great. But, we're always trying to make it better, but you're also kind of putting lipstick on a pig kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
It's an old building. The city guys that we work with are outstanding. Like they're doing their best for what we got to work with. And same with us. We go in there and the Elks meet with us in the spring, and how do we fancy it up? It was kind of like trying to get Rexall looking nice, right?
And they tried.
And we do all the flame stuff down in my shop in Calgary. So it's tough going in the Saddle Dome. Like I make the joke that the walls are being held up by our vinyl.
You know what, Bruce? Some of them probably are.
And you can there's a lot of things you can do with old buildings. I mean, I was at Dodger Stadium, and that's old. Fenway Park, Wrigley Field. You can do all things to some stadiums, but there's only so much you can do in a covered stadium. Like an outdoor stadium, you have a little bit more room and you can do some things. But when the walls are already fixed, like the Saddle Dome or Rexall was, you get to a point where it's like, I don't know. And I don't know.
Unless you have the money, like MSG.
Yeah, that's
MSG
true,
is
yeah.
100 years old, but
Yeah.
they're also putting like brand new facility type money
Yeah, that's what
into
you
it to
can,
renovate
you
it.
can do that with
Like,
some things. You're right.
but
MSG
that's
is a bit of a.
there's
it's
a massive
It's a
money.
unicorn MSG, right?
Yes,
like you go to
very
the
good
fifth
point.
floor to get to the rink. Like
It's a
it's
monster
so
ramp on the
different.
outside, yeah.
But they're putting like hundreds and hundreds
Right.
of millions when they do the renovations.
$1 billion
and it's-
Yeah.
like
that's
10 years
right.
ago. Yeah.
So,
So-
and that's a new rink.
Yes.
But-
And
so
the
they
amount
find
of
a way.
space that you have at Commonwealth, I would think you would be able to do something pretty decent as far as a retrofit.
You could. Problem is that other than these concerts, which were great to have, my family went to Pink and said it was the best concert ever.
Nice.
But we use it 10 times a year.
Yeah.
I know the Elks practice there, and they have the facility there, but
Yeah, well,
That's where a retractable roof would
10
be
events.
amazing.
So if you're the city to invest that money and look at our roadways and the LRT compared to
Hospital thing,
10 events,
yeah.
you're like, that's
well,
tough,
you're
tough,
right, Matt. You need a roof, and you can't just slap a roof on Commonwealth. So you would have to build a new facility with a roof. Then you're getting more concerts a year and stuff. But I don't know, where would you put that?
Northlands. That racetrack bugs me every time I see it because it's just such a nice
Okay.
property. I think the Folk Fest should go there. I know they have the thing on the hill, but it's just such a great area. The LRT goes right there.
Yep.
It would be. There's still parking, even though they charge a fortune, but there's still parking there.
Yeah, there is room, so you could.
Yes.
A little 35-seat stadium covered would be ideal there.
5,000 short of what you want.
40,
Yeah.
I like 40.
He fights for 40, and I agree with Tommy on that.
Go 40 and then be able to tarp it down if you need to, right?
Sure. I always think of Edmonton like the little city that can punch above its weight class. So
Musically, for sure.
What's McMahon?
35, but they've tarped off a
Yeah.
bunch of. Did you do the tarps on the corners? Yeah, I saw that.
So yeah, like 40 seems like it'd be pretty good, and then it's not, like
It's doable.
if you, it's one thing to say, but then we could never get a World Cup or something like
Well.
that. But we didn't get it anyway as a city.
Yep.
So if you're a citizen of Edmonton, are you saying, oh, I want to hold out for a 60,000 seat for like that 0.5% that wherever the city's ever going to get something,
Yeah.
or do you want to have something that you can have busy more than 10 times a year or something? And like the fact that Edmonton did not get a World Cup game should have everybody and their dog saying, okay, we do not need a 60,000 seat stadium anymore because this was the perfect opportunity for it, and they didn't come here.
That I understand, but then you get the flip side where people, well, how do we get Metallica and Pink then? Was
Metallica, they couldn't play in a 40,000 seat?
They picked Edmonton over Regina because Edmonton was bigger.
Yeah.
And they
Right.
did 2 shows here. And they can make a lot more money.
Even if you had a 40,000, I bet you they would still pick Edmonton over Regina. Regina hasn't had a concert in over a year, somebody told me. Something is going on there.
Oh.
At the
Yes.
Brand Center, yeah. Oh, I guess Mosaic.
We're talking about
I was-
Mosaic.
Yeah, we're talking about
But yeah.
Yeah.
So what's Mosaic?
33.5.
So I think even if they're both equal, 40,000 and 40,000, you're still picking Edmonton over
Probably,
Regina.
I would think.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Or they might not pick either.
Oh yeah, I
Like
guess
that's the
there's
other
that.
thing. Like they might. We
Just
don't
go to
need to
Vancouver?
bring the amount to bring the trucks here and stuff. It's not worth it for 40.
Like I mean, I would love to see like Radiohead or Tool again, but they're only ever going if they come to Canada, Vancouver or Toronto, right?
Yeah.
They're not coming to Commonwealth in November, obviously, or whatever. And
Yeah.
it's like those bands are like they don't even look at anything in between. It's like Toronto, Vancouver. Who cares about the rest? There's other bands that come through and stuff like that, but those big bands, even if we have 60,000, are not coming here.
By the way, Bruce Simpson from William Huff with us here. Do you need to get going or anything?
Yeah,
or
I should get going.
I just
or
want
I have work
to.
to do,
That's
but-
where I just wanted to make sure because we could keep you for another 40 minutes if
Yeah.
you'd like.
All these appointments he's missing. Where are you? Just hanging out.
On the air.
I get to, we're having lunch with the Larry Thompson today.
Oh, very
Oh,
nice.
sweet.
Kind of important.
Good group.
I have my multi-layer of clothes today, shop clothes, dress-up clothes to meet Larry, and then pink clothes this afternoon. So
He's a
All
little bit.
good.
He's a little bit more important than us.
More outfit changes than a concert here.
yeah, I'm looking
like
forward to, well, I've already seen just being down there. Like the atmosphere at the stadium over the last few weeks is, like I've been with the team now 27 years. And the last 4 or 5 have been tough to
Totally.
be around.
Is it
and
just the
watch.
ownership change? You think people are excited?
Well, I think
or-
the winning. I think just the
Actually,
whole,
I haven't had an owner yet. This is his first game.
right, but the news of the
the-
owner. I mean, the news of did that give
Certainly.
people, or maybe it's like the perfect storm of
It
everything
was a
coming
perfect
together.
storm. I think them starting to turn it around and figure it out and win.
Coaching change, obviously.
It's just very much positive. Like everybody we'd go to the games where we're all like, oh, boy, I hope we don't get blown out. Or, it's
You're like
been
the
that for a
Cleveland
few
fans
years.
in Major League
was
that
tough,
like we
yeah.
suck again.
You're trying to, and like, bless their hearts, Karen and Evan and those guys try to put on a great game day.
Yep.
But when the fans aren't engaged and
Well, when they're not there, it's hard to
and
create
they're
that
not
atmosphere.
there and we're losing, and it was tough, but it just turned around instantly. And my family, everybody's talking about going to the game. They're excited about it now, so
That's good.
which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Exactly.
exciting. I know the Oilers took a lot out of the beginning of the season,
they
which
did.
was
It was a great run, but it took a lot it impacted a lot of other people and other plans.
That 06 run, I still remember going to Eskimos when they were the Eskimos back then, and Danny Machocha being like, he'd be so mad that there'd be like me, my camera guy, and one other person or something like that, and that like, oh, the Oilers again, and be like, yeah, you have to understand, it's the Oilers and it's the Stanley Cup final. It hasn't happened in 16 years. Like there was so many
Unexpected
factors,
run.
unexpected. Like you just be glad anybody is showing up to your practice at that point, because the Oilers, even when they suck, they grab 90% of the headlines in this city, as the top team in every city does.
Right.
So when you add on that, it's like you have to just be like, okay, we're the little brother. We have to just realize this is happening and hope people come after, because that just swallows up all the attention.
WilliamHuff.com, where you go for any advertising needs. Really appreciate the
signage.
trip.
Signage.
He always says advertising, which is a funny name, right? Because we did start in 1952 as an advertising agency.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, our stuff is signage, like murals and coroplast and truck wraps and
Walls.
vehicle wraps
Walls.
and wall wraps and
Man, you should write a book on how it has changed since like 1952 to now, like all the changes in.
well, it changes all the time, and that's why I'm on the back half, sure. And just all the equipment, like we bought a printer 6 months ago and it's already outdated.
Oh man, that's
So
crazy.
it's hard, but to stay up to date.
Yeah.
Yeah, you try.
Yeah.
I want to write a book about being with the CFL for 27
Yeah, that'd be
years.
really cool, actually. And
Yeah,
just
there's
seeing how
been
that
some-
league has
And
changed
there's
too,
been
right?
Great stories behind
They're not
the
drafting
scenes.
dead people anymore. There's
They're
no
great.
American teams.
For the amount of heck they get or bad press they do get, there are some good people have gone through that office.
The history of the Canadian, like somebody asked me one time, he's like, how come it's the 100 and something Grey Cup and it's like the Super Bowl 33 or whatever? I said, because of history. I said the two football leagues came together at one point. It was one league in Canada for hundreds of years. I mean, it's got a massive history, and you know what? The all the things that we joke about and stuff has made this league better. And there's been times where you thought this league is not going to survive, and people come in and they save it because it's what it is. I mean, probably my favorite CFL memory is John Candy, Wayne Gretzky, Bruce McNall at the football game in Winnipeg, and Rocket Ismail is running in a touchdown, and a
And a snowball.
frozen beer can
Oh,
comes
beer can.
flying out
Yeah.
of like the stands, and it's like, wow, we have a movie star, a future Hall of Famer owning a team, and it was a cool moment. So like it's stuff like that that is part of our fabric, and that we're not the NFL, we're not the big thing, we are a cozy little football league. That's how I like to see
there
it.
for you.
It's there, and
We
you know
have our
what?
quirks
You
and-
can't make it what it isn't.
Yeah.
Like people are like, I would hate this. I never watch the CFL, and I'm only NFL. I'll be like, hey, that's fine, but this is what it is. It's unique for a reason. It has its own rules for a reason, and it's Canadian for a reason.
Well, I got text messages last night after the Kansas City Baltimore game. Oh, what a great finish! I said, well, that's every week in the CFL.
That's right.
Yes, good point.
It's just every game.
It
like
is.
That.
Yeah.
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 Especially if the Eskimos on the last second, it was happening a lot or the Elks, it was happening a lot. But it is, in a NFL game, a lot of times you don't have to watch the last 2 minutes. It's like kind of like a basketball game,
Yeah.
a little bit at that point. In the CFL, if you get up in the last 3 minutes, how much are you missing?
Yeah, exactly.
It's wild.
Everything. Yep.
Well, thank you for having me. I
Appreciate
thanks for coming by.
the gift. That's very
Hey,
kind of
welcome.
you.
Congratulations on a year. It's been
Thank you, Bruce.
fun to watch.
And all the best tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for being a part of our little family, our quirky little thing with its.
Yeah, we love it. You
perks
guys have
and
done a great
quirks.
job here. It's been wonderful to watch and grow.
Thanks, Bruce.
And say hi to Larry for us.
Yeah, say hi to Larry.
He'll remember
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
He'll remember Tommy and I.
Yeah.
This is the EST Hangout. Matt Iwanyk, Millard, Tom Gazzola here. That's Bruce Simpson from William Huff. WilliamHuff.com. We're live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in, iHeartRadio, as well as on YouTube. And thanks to everyone for listening in the podcast in the future. We've got to get through some things. Hangout headlines I want to quickly get to here for the Ranch Golf and Country Club, offering premier conditions, top-notch service, unmatched value. Book your tee time by visiting theranchgolf.com. You were right, Jay.
About
Logan Bonner, the new starting quarterback of the Calgary Stampeders for tomorrow. I didn't think it would happen. I said, no chance, Jay. No chance will it change the starting quarterback going on this one. Who's Logan Bonner? And this is such an important game, but he's listed as the starter on the depth chart.
it's gone now. The season's gone.
Yeah.
For the Stamps?
Yep.
This is their last crack at trying to salvage it. If they can get this win, maybe they can get going. But you're going to a complete unknown. I didn't even know his name going into the game.
Yeah,
Or
no.
into the
Isn't that
post-game show.
grasping at straws a little bit right now?
100%.
And I asked that one time in an Oiler press conference, and they were like, "No, we're not grasping at straws." But it seemed like they were. When you are making I think it was like somebody was moved up to the top line that nobody had ever thought of. Kind of similar situation here is like, and maybe it's like, what do we have to lose, right? Like, do you say, hey, let's throw this because what we've doing with the right hand hasn't been working. We got to go to the left and see if it sparks something. And if it doesn't, we probably weren't making the playoffs anyway. I don't know. Like,
Taylor Cornelius tried that in a game last year. Didn't work very good.
that's right.
Poor Taylor Cornelius. He
What is
just had
happening?
such inaccuracy with his throwing.
Well, it's a
Athleticism was actually way higher than one would think for
Great
Taylor
arm,
Cornelius.
right?
Great arm, but he had a problem. He threw it to the other extremities. He would never throw it to your hands. He'd throw it to your feet.
it's a pretty important aspect.
yeah.
You know, like and you see that. Oh, guy's got a rocket arm. Or Sheldon Surrey had the loudest shot in the league because it was always off the glass. It was never on net, right? Like a rocket of an arm in baseball or football doesn't do you much good if you throw it 5 feet over the guy you're trying to throw it to or whatever it is.
This would be an interesting question because I didn't grow up in a hockey rink. I certainly don't cover hockey like both of you would. Certainly you watched broadcast tons of games. Can you like distinctly tell the difference between a guy that can really shoot the puck and a guy that's got like let's say the difference between a like NHLer slap shot and between a even though he's in the NHL, like a not so good slap shot.
Yeah.
Like, can you
like a
see
Sheldon
it?
Surrey slap shot compared to a Ryan Smith slap shot, which they would call a muffin. Remember
Yes.
they would call Smitty shot a muffin. You can tell the difference by the velocity of the ricochet, right, or the post or something
The
like.
sound is odd. You can pick up
Really?
Yeah.
on how it sounds coming off the stick too
Like,
sometimes, and you're like,
And so in baseball, I can hit one home run and I could go up, or not me, but somebody could go up that doesn't have a lot of home runs and hit it in the sweet spot of the barrel, and you hear the same crack of the bat.
Yeah.
In a shot, if you have like, it's not like that. It's not like you're hitting it on the sweet part of the blade and it's going like a slap shot. It's velocity, so you can tell almost like the crack off of a bat. But in baseball, you can just get lucky and hit it off the barrel, and you're great. In hockey, you can't get lucky and have a 100-mile-an-hour shot.
yeah. Some guys have the right combination of they just in their mind and with their body
Timing,
it's so
right?
in line. The timing's perfect. They get it off this. They know their stick that well, and they fire it, and you're like, that didn't even make a sound coming off his.
It's like
Evan
golf.
Bouchard, you can't even hear it.
That's
clapping
right, because
off
it's
his-
so
just so
it's so
smooth.
and time.
Yeah.
It's like in golf. Anybody can hit one off the screws, right? You know, in a if you're shooting like 90, probably at least one is going to be. Oh, I nutted that one. It was perfect.
Right.
It was great,
Yeah.
right? But in hockey, it's not like you're in a beer league game and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I just turned into 100-mile-an-hour shot. You're, you know, like I was at our rink last night and I was just watching. We were doing some training and there was a beer league game going on, and I'm like, wow. Beer league is so slow. Like when you go out and play beer league, you think it's fast.
Right.
When you watch it, it's like, oh my goodness. Compared to even like, I'll go watch a 15U practice at Silent Ice, and it's so much faster.
Yeah.
And even at that age, and the composite sticks.
Yep.
Like that's probably the biggest thing in the shot is that we're not using wood sticks anymore, and the velocity that you get off of it is so much more.
Incredible.
It's actually crazy you mentioned the difference in when you're looking at it in person as opposed to I was at the world's longest baseball game. I volunteered as an ump for a couple shifts.
Awesome.
And they threw me behind home plate. Shouldn't have, but they did. And T-Roy was up to bat, Dustin's former brother-in-law, who's here just living his best
hanging
life.
He gave us
yeah.
some great photos that he signed individually.
And Sake was pitching. Brent Sake, organizer. We all know him, love him.
Great
they
guy.
went over $300,000 just
Awesome.
yesterday, by the way. So
Congratulations.
round of clicks for them for hitting their goal. He was throwing, and when I was on the first base line, I was like, he's throwing muffins. Like,
He's a pretty good
anybody can
ball
hit
player,
this. Get behind first home plate, and you have a different appreciation for those are actually coming in a lot harder. We had this discussion about tennis, how on TV the ball's going to and fro but if you were actually there sitting sidewards looking at it, it'd be a totally different story and a different appreciation. Mm-hmm. T-Roy, I should actually post those to Twitter. He swung out of his shoes on one. He almost fell over. Oh, no. Those poor guys. They were like T-Roy's arm is still bunged up. Like he's a mess.
Overhand, right? I think
it's fastball.
That's
like
your rotator
and
cuff.
by the way, Jack and Matt kissing in the mornings. Matt played in the game.
Nice.
I think he was the best baseball player there.
Wow.
At least from the I didn't see all the players, but talking about crack of a bat.
Yeah.
Like Sake had a legitimate baseball field.
He did, yeah.
Like center field was 475 feet.
Wow.
What? Yes.
Jeez.
Yes. And like light
unfair.
standards, 100-foot light standards everywhere. The Green Monster was in the corner.
475.
Sake's band played on the Green Monster
is awesome.
on the Friday or Thursday night. Matt hit a ball that almost went out.
470.
And you talk about a crack of a bat, I could hear that.
Yeah. And that's such a fun
because at that
sound,
time of the
right?
night, it's like you got to really keep your bearings on because it's dark. And but he cracked the bat. He is a really good baseball player.
I remember reffing at 3 a.m. at the hockey game for them. And it's such a cool feeling because it's got a little bit of music going, but you just hear the skates.
Yeah.
Nobody's really talking because they're all tired.
Yep.
And it was the most fun. You know, KK was out there and Uni and Dusty was out there.
Yeah.
And you're talking to these guys and they're just so like you want to be like, hey, how's it going? And they're just like, and they're just so. But the atmosphere, it's like. It's a very Canadian thing to be just playing in the middle of the night with the lights and what Saker does out there with that thing. Like you could play like the prospects should have went out and used that field this year instead of rotating.
Well, I know
so
like
beautiful.
Saker's son is involved in Sherwood Park Athletics baseball. So I'm pretty sure that there's a couple teams that are getting some pretty good field times out at Saker's Acres because it's honestly serious. Like it's a legit facility.
You know what's funny is you guys were talking about was it Spike TV yesterday?
Yeah.
And that Pros versus Joes.
this show.
We sat beside two guys in LA, and these guys should have been on Pros versus Joes as contestants because the one guy he said, "Hey, do you think if you got up there in 100 pitches you could get a hit?" And I'm like, "No chance." I'm like,
Does a foul count?
well, he said even if you tip it, I'm like, well, that's
No,
whatever.
you'd have to have it.
Yeah, I gotta get a hit.
Okay, because I think maybe in 100 pitches I could maybe get
I
the
don't even know if
bat
you would
ball
get
once.
a tick between like hitting a curveball. Like, listen, I went into a batting cage and it was 70 miles an hour, and I was having trouble keeping it up. And I played baseball.
Oh, we're not
as a
saying
kid.
just fastball.
No, this is
I was thinking like
legit.
same straight, like
curveball.
You're actually
slider.
standing there. They're
Yeah.
going. Oh,
They're
yeah,
trying
I'm
to strike
screwed.
you up.
I got nothing.
No.
And these guys were like, "Oh yeah, I could do it." I'm like, "You are crazy, man. You are going in against Paul Skeens. There's no chance, or any major league
Any
pitcher.
major league
like
pitcher,
like the time you got so then you start trying to get ahead of it, and they throw a change up, and you're like, they're so that the people that think, oh, I could do it or whatever. I remember somebody said like, I was a media guy, I think, said something like, I could be better than Zach Stortini, and I'm just like. No, you couldn't. Like it's a fallacy in people's minds that think, and that where I'm going with that is like the golfer that hits the one great shot thinks they can break 80, or the guy that hits one sweet baseball thinks he can hit 50 home runs. It's impossible to be a professional athlete. I think hitting a curveball might be one of the hardest things in sports. I mean, a ball coming 70 miles, 80 miles, whatever, moving. Or a hard slider. Every sport has it. I mean, those Pros versus Joes guys, when they would play the football, they would get annihilated.
Yeah.
And hockey, Paul Coffey was on there. Do you remember Paul Coffey being a big physical boomer? He crushed guys into the boards. I'm like, that was probably one of my favorite things, is just to see those guys get, because they thought they were the best.
Well, that's what I love. I see it on the post-game show. People, when they're mad about the Oilers, be like, I could score 10 on McDavid's lines. Like, no, you can't.
You did break 80 this year, though.
I did break it.
Attaboy.
Deal with that.
Thank you, Matthew.
Green and Gold kickoff show tomorrow. Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Jay and I will be there at 4 o'clock. The daily special prime rib sandwich. You can also get the cheese and jalapeno smoky, which is the game day special during Elks games at Century Casino, or you can just tune in to Edmonton Sports Talk. We'll have you covered for that one. The Elks also announcing that Aaron Grimes is retiring from football, announced his retirement, signing a one-day with contract with the Elks, but he's also going to join the Double E as a defensive assistant and community ambassador.
I liked him.
I think that might end his time on the EST afternoons with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Cage.
He was on the morning show yesterday at the alumni golf tournament with Dusty and Eric, and he was saying, I'm looking at getting into coaching, so good foreshadowing there.
Yeah.
And
Well, he was supposed to be a regular every Monday with Hernan
really?
and Gager.
that
Maybe
would've
he's
been
still
so-
good.
Well, I don't know.
And
If
you
he's
know
at
what?
coaching,
Maybe.
that's the part I don't know about being a defensive assistant, if he'll have the time to.
I think if
to
you're in
recap.
the Elk
Matt,
situation,
I was reading something that came in from a dear friend of ours, Damon. Can you repeat what you
Hey,
just
Damon.
said?
Is he watching?
I think
hope
he
so.
is. But
Big fan of Damon. Aaron Grimes retired, joining the Elks as a defensive assistant and community ambassador.
love that guy.
I think he was a
He can
really
still be a
fun guy
guest.
to. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He was
If
on
you
to
are the
discuss
I know he's great.
other teams and other games.
He's
and
so beloved.
I just
right,
think
but
if
is he
you're
going to
the
come on
Elks
to
right
talk about
now,
the Bombers?
be like, hey, most teams won't have a coach go on a show. We are going to, and we're gonna, obviously.
yeah, like
there's
G.
gonna
Roy
be-
Simon was on the morning show, but I guess as a
But
regular
he was supposed to
contributor.
be on to like talk CFL, talk
But he's
Smith.
he's
okay.
like embraced
So
maybe it's like
Edmonton.
That's the difference.
Maybe
where
it's
it's
I know,
like,
but
just
maybe
he's
as
going to come
simple.
on and break down the difference between BC and Montreal.
Yeah,
and
you
also,
might have to guide the conversation.
But it
a little
might
But
bit
he's
be-
also
you
got
could break
coaching
down their
meetings.
opponent, maybe.
Sure.
He's got coaching
something,
meetings and he's
yeah.
got things. But like the plan for how he was supposed to be was
But
that.
that's smart. Like that would be a smart move for them to say, you know what? Even though this guy is going to be a coach, we still want to get him out there.
The official drink of the EST Hangout. It is the Finnish long drink, legend of 1952, gin-based drink that is now in Canada.
10 years
Go to
old.
longdrink.com/Canada, and they'll tell you where you can get it. Because not everyone in Edmonton has it, but a lot of places do. You can find out what's delicious. Jay, you're having one. What do you think?
I love them.
I
think
thought Dusty
delicious.
brought that back from the Spangler or something.
No. The new official drink of the Hangout.
Love it.
I got to be honest. I like the sugar version more than the non-sugar version.
I think they taste the exact same to me.
Okay.
I like
I'm
that
gonna have
they
to try-
have that option though, because a lot of drinks like the alcohol ones that you have, they're so loaded with sugar. So I like that.
Also gluten-free for those that are interested. We need to get to Road Warriors, presented by AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers, custom manufacturing of heavy haul trailers for mining, oil and gas, equipment, highway transportation, no patch jobs, better than you solutions, trusted by the leaders in the heavy transport industry. Two teams are on the road to the National Football League. It is Packers, Eagles out in Brazil today. One thing actually we didn't actually get talking about it because it went off the rails for a different conversation. The Dinos are on the road coming to Footfield tonight as they're taking on the Golden Bears. 7 o'clock. The Bears looking to go 2-0. Coolbet has them as minus 1,000 favorites on the money line. The Bears going into this.
That's a fun place to go watch a game.
And I think today is going to be great.
I
With the
love
weather.
those assignments when like Friday nights at Global, I'll be like, hey, I'm going to swing by Footfield and
Yeah.
just, college is just such like I was watching a lot of college football over the last weekend, and you're seeing the crowds and everything, and I just love that atmosphere, and I wish more people would embrace it. I mean, the student sections are great, the alumni is great, the football is great, the weather is incredible.
Yeah.
Well, like that is and it's a family affordable. I mean, it is
And the parking there is actually not. It's been
It's kinda-
questioned.
yeah.
But if you go across the tracks towards the professional building that's over there, there's so
But
much.
there's an
parking.
LRT too,
That's
right?
pass.
There's an LRT that.
I think that requires a pass.
No. Not
But you
at
could also
night.
take the LRT.
Yeah,
It's
you
like
can
right
park
there.
and ride. Go
Yeah.
for dinner first downtown,
It's just,
south side,
like,
whatever.
And they're a good team now, and when that team is good and the student section gets going on a Friday night, it is fun. Like I would be in the broadcast booth, and I'm like, this is like it's a really cool environment.
I remember playing there, and it was the new Footfield at that point, because on the west side they have actual proper bleachers, and then on the west or the east side, it's like wooden,
Temporary,
kind of, but it leads into the berm of the shape of the bowl. And that was the last time U of A was relevant as a football squad, and it was a home game against Manitoba, and it was I think we were at that point undefeated, ranked number 4 in the country, and it was packed. I mean, all the stands were packed, the bowl was packed, and I just remember sitting on the sidelines, like watching that and getting goosebumps.
How do you not?
And then the next thing I saw was, because we were on the east side at that point, and the next thing I saw was my buddies, who affectionately call me Terry. I
learned about that.
My nickname is Terry from Fubar.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, full
Diener
tilt.
and Terry?
Yeah, Diener and Terry. Hey, that could be us. And the next thing I see is Terry, and it's my best bud Murph and another of my really good friends, Evo. They're like, look, and they open their jacket and they've got a 40 of spiced rum in their jacket.
Wow.
So at that point, I knew the party was on.
Can they do berm seating there? I mean,
You can
sit there. You can
sit
sit in the end zone.
I've gone to in Okotoks. They have a really beautiful ball diamond for the dogs there, and they have a berm. I think Sylvan Lake put in a berm.
I like berm
It's
seating.
really great for baseball, especially in certain
Outfields.
outfield and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think berm seating is great because it's like you don't see. It's casual, right? It's like families, and you see the kids rolling down the hill and running up.
Yeah.
And I love it. I think berm seating
think
in
for
every
kids, that's
stadium
good.
should have a berm.
2 more things I need to get to because then you want to talk about some things. I want to get you a chance. 2018 continues to pay dividends for Edmonton as the opening line of this press release as the Elks donate more than $500,000 to amateur football.
Nice.
They announced today a donation of over $500,000 to Edmonton amateur minor football. This is coming from when they hosted the 2018 Grey Cup. A total of 5 amateur football organizations will receive funds. $102,000 each to the Huskies Wildcats.
Wow.
Oh,
that's
$100
huge.
grand
Bears
each to those teams.
Bears getting $100,000.
Which program?
Wildcats.
Football Alberta gets $106,000 and Capital District Minor Football gets $40,000. So that's going around. The Elks passing that out there.
Yes.
The Elks
That
have a
is
thing at 11 o'clock today, but yeah, the Elks from 2018. The money, I guess, was just sitting there or whatever, but $500,000 being spread around to all sorts of organizations.
incredible.
Glue Guy
Awesome.
could speak to that because he was a VP with the Wildcats and obviously has.
Yeah, like
now
that's
that both you are alumni of the
That's massive.
Golden Bears football.
Well, Matt, you
program.
can speak on the Bears as the alumni guy there. I'll speak on the Wildcats. That is huge.
Who was your coach with the Wildcats?
Ron Gabinet
Oh, okay. I was covering
Actually,
them
of
when
Austin
Gary
O'Brien.
Durchik was the.
of Austin O'Brien. Ron Gabinet. You too. Yeah.
AOB. What
And then I had Jerry Friesen at U of A.
Yeah. Gary Durchik was the coach when I was covering them, and the Jones boys and stuff. I loved
Tristan
junior football,
Jones,
man.
yeah.
I loved it. It was fun.
They had a squad there. They won a national
hockey
championship.
against Tristan Jones. He was a
They're
His
incredible
brother,
athletes.
yeah.
Tristan and
brother was. I can't
I always
remember.
call his brother Tristan. They're twins.
Yeah.
I need you to get going because I got to get to
okay,
something.
okay,
Because we've only got like 10 minutes left.
No, but that's
so I think we
huge.
got to get a bunch of things. So I want you to get into that.
They are directly correlated to the 50-50 that happens at the Double E games. So for them over the last few years when the attendance is down, so is the funding. So this is music to their ears. Trust me, I'm going to actually reach out to the current president of the Wildcats, Brad Gatchney.
Awesome.
And I want to have him on our show from 3 to 6
Why
to
don't
talk
they?
about
Why
it.
don't they do the 50-50? Sorry, I know you.
No, continue.
But why don't they do the 50-50 like the Oilers have done it in all these teams, so you don't have to be at the game to get a ticket?
I don't think you do.
Oh, you okay?
I think they do it.
I think you could pay. You could buy it anywhere.
You can buy it. Okay, good. I was hoping
Okay.
they would, because that just seems like, I remember the World Juniors in Saskatoon was the start of crazy
Huge
pots
pots,
because you could print out the ticket system. Then everybody went to it, and then everybody's like, well, why can't we let the people at home? So I'm glad they are doing that, and then it gives the Elks fan in Lethbridge a chance to get in on
Yep.
it or something. So that's good.
That's a good point.
Dusty did have another tweet saying Trev is racing Glue Glide to 1,000. Give him a follow now. So Dusty got back in this,
Yeah, I
and
know.
Trev is now in the lead.
Oh, you guys have to call a meeting.
YouTube
Is there a
Trev.
staff meeting?
Reed's doing
YouTube Trev
something.
is 9:46.
You have a union?
Jay
Go to your union rep.
is at 9:44.
Somebody's been
YouTube
unfollowing
Trev. One person, Matthew, said he has unfollowed you to follow Trev for now
me. Why?
to help Trev get there.
Why do you help both?
So
Like, way to go, Dustin. You're getting me unfollowed.
The union wants to talk to you.
so
You're the
Trav.
damn boss.
HR
Trav is
daddy,
now
hello.
two ahead of Jay. I stand.
HR.
My position still remains the same. I think you should follow both of them.
Yeah.
But now the running
I'm
of the
gonna go.
clock.
I'm talking
Who are
to
you
HR
following?
daddy.
Both?
I follow both.
Okay, good. It would be weird if somebody within this company only followed one. That would make an
Although-
awkward
That would be a
meeting.
mole.
I do have.
We would not be able to trust
You want
him.
to know? I do have another Twitter account.
You know, here's a funny story about moles. When I was in Regina, Danny Barrett was the head coach, and he thought there was a mole in the media, so he closed practice one time.
No way.
We wanted to pay an old man, put a bomber jacket on him, and sneak him into the stadium just to see what Danny Barrett would do, but we couldn't get it done. But football, I find the most paranoid of coaches when it comes to that stuff.
So there you go, Jay. You need to get going and.
Well, I'm getting my man Reed on it.
There you
Yeah,
go.
well, yeah, you might have not. You might not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you might-
you gotta get there before 3:00 probably.
Oh no, it happens today. It's going to be
Well,
done
but
today.
you better hope it's not over by
I said,
3.
Reed, hurry up. I need the tweet.
Dino, what's going on with you?
Lots of stuff. We have a week from today. We kick off the JPHL season. That's the Junior Prospects Hockey League. Gazzola's man, Sean Bell, is the head of HC Edmonton. I think they got 3rd jerseys this year, actually. Bellsy was showing me. They're pretty
Nice.
nice. So we're in Lloydminster and Abbotsford. I'll take a quick trip down to Seattle and check out the T-Birds while I'm out there. And our season starts pretty much, I think I have 4 weekends off. 2 of them are Christmas. So it's a busy time for us. We have Saints home opener on the 20th of September. And that's history because it's against the Penticton Vs.
Yep.
First full season in the BCHL. The hockey's going to be awesome. So they'll also be moving into a new arena in Spruce Grove at some point during the season. So that is very exciting, and lots of new stuff. New play-by-play man Trevor Miller, and we're having a curling event at Silent Ice Center in November. Grand Slam of Curling. If you haven't checked out the Silent Ice Center, come on out. Check it out in just south of Edmonton and Nisku. We have a beautiful restaurant Summit there. You can have a bite to eat. Check out some action and
Great food there.
It is
6 o'clock or lager on tap. Birdie Boo's also
Yeah,
there.
it's
I admit,
so
I have
great.
not been there.
Yeah,
It's-
come check it
it's
out. Let me
beautiful.
know when you
I
want
will.
to come out, and I'll give you a bit of a tour. We it's just people walk through there and be like, "Who plays here?" And be like, "Youth beer league." And there's no professional team, so it's the nicest arena in Canada without.
I've
a
heard this.
professional
Like, it's
team.
just crazy
Like
nice.
Gene Principe walked in there and he was just like, "Whoa!" And Gino's been to pretty much everything. So yeah, we're busy. Always looking for freelancers to work with us. If you want to learn the thing like that, reach out to me. But it's fun. I mean,
Nice.
we know how busy we work in the media and in sports, but we do it because we love it. I mean, people like, "Oh, you're so busy." I'm like, "Yeah, but my office is at a rink." I go
guys have that
downstairs to
Friday
play
hockey or
shinny
whatever it is?
twice
Yeah.
a week,
Right.
and my gear is already in a stall. And I'm a rink rat, man. I was at a rink when I was 2 years old, watching my brothers play. So for me, it's a dream job. It's a great company, and I would encourage people to get out and check out independent hockey and see what it has all about, especially out in the Saints or Sherwood Park. We have the crosstown rivalry.
And Dino, kids are free at Saints games. Got a text that came
Yeah,
in.
isn't that cool? Like, you can. We just talked about affordability, right?
Yeah.
There's some new things coming out with the Saints, but I think it's 12 and under to be able to go check that out, and then the new arena. But come check us out at Silent Ice Center. It's a lot of fun. It's a really cool environment, and who doesn't like being at a rink? For me, it's a
so
bit of a dream
comfortable.
job, right?
Yeah.
It'd be like if you worked at a football.
Well, that's how I
field.
feel here.
Skated there?
I have not skated
haven't
there.
skated
I've
there
been
Yeah,
chastised about not
we've
playing for the
been in,
Bald Eagles.
Yeah, so actually, last night there's a Golden Eagles, and I'm like, Golden Eagles? Who's on the Golden Eagles? And they're like, everybody that can't play on the Bald Eagles, because the Bald Eagles is their Division One. They won it last year. They're like, you got Glennie, you got Sean
They're all
Bell.
NHL
like,
guys.
like,
So why don't you play with them? Is there no time?
I get invited like 20 minutes before they're on the ice.
Oh.
And it's Bell's like, hey, can you come play? I'm like, well, I'm at the studio. My gear's at
Yeah.
home. I had no idea. He's like, you should have known.
It's-
I'm like, how am I supposed to know?
Yeah, like literally, I say it's kind of like in Strange Brew. When Strange Brew, when they're in the mental institution or whatever, not that is, but the alarm goes off and they all run down and put on the gear and start playing.
Yeah.
It's like the Flintstones alarm goes off in our building or something. They're like, all right, I got to go play shinny, and we go down there. It's a great place, but it's also a fantastic place to watch a game. The restaurant is awesome if
Yes.
you want to come check out some sports and on the TVs. So We're fun. It's fun, man. Silent Ice is growing. The JPHL. We also have the female Super League this year, which is
That's right.
bringing in 12U and 14U. We still have the Hockey Super League, so always growing. And I'm looking forward to getting down to Seattle and checking out some U.S. Even though it's preseason, the hockey in the U.S. division, the atmosphere is so much different than in Canada. It's the college thing, right? Where you almost tailgate and you're cheering. I remember a kid got traded to Brandon one time from Tri-City, and he's like, I can't believe how dead it is here compared to out there. So
Tri-Cities, Seattle, Everett.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
Portland. So I'm
Fantastic.
looking forward to just kind of checking that out. I've never been to Seattle either, so might go to a Mariners game for $4. Like
Garlic
Hell
fries. I've heard. I've never been to a Mariners game, but I heard their garlic fries
Bring some
are
garlic.
A buddy of mine was going to a Seahawks preseason game last weekend, so just be neat to be in a different city. I'm a big grunge guy. I'll probably go
Go
check
find
out-
Kurt Cobain's.
The bridge?
Steve Sandor was there, and he was showing me some pictures of the area.
Yeah.
There's a bridge that's named after Kurt Cobain?
He wrote a
It's-
song.
or under it or something, and that's where people go and congregate or something. And
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
actually
I would be
one
doing
person
that.
has like a sign there going, "No, I did not know Kurt Cobain. Like, do not come to my door." But then says his neighbor Phil did.
Oh, that's
And
hilarious.
his Sandor was showing me these pictures, and it looked really cool. It's like one, I would love to actually go check that out. So I would check.
So Reed
will do.
put out a post
All
for me,
right.
for his guy.
Did you get it, Bob?
It's happening, but then I text Dustin, my boss, and said, "Hey, boss man, are you going to repost Reed's tweet in celebration of me and helping me?"
Silence.
Left me on red.
Oh, wow.
Crickets.
I'll say this: he hasn't done anything.
won't.
You
He
are
won't.
one behind still.
He won't.
You are at 9:48, and Trev is at 9:49.
What a race.
I'm going to
Actually, YouTube Trev taking advantage of the Reed Wilkins tweet
because Trev doesn't like to be in the middle of this.
by quote tweeting it, going, "Let's make this race a photo finish." So
Is this
I
like-
like what Trev's doing there.
This-
I'm
you know what
proud
this
of what he's
reminds
doing.
me?
Come in here.
This reminds me a little bit about Stauffer and Brownlee's race.
Oh, my
that,
God.
nobody was winning, really.
Somebody has video of that apparently.
The late Robin Brownlee, we all miss him for sure.
There's
But
Trev.
Stauffer and
Come sit
Brownlee
here.
racing is kind of like
before
what
you-
reminds me of this.
Come sit
More
on my lap.
information. More information on Silent Ice. Quickly, if somebody wanted more or like to
Yeah,
watch.
silentice.com and silenticetv.com is where you can check
Have a
out our
seat,
games.
have a
Thank
seat,
you very
have a
much,
seat.
man.
So I wanted to make sure we got that in there.
Appreciate it.
Why are we bringing Trev in here? Not that I don't want Trev. in
No,
here, but-
I just want everybody to know that this
love
is
each other.
awkward for him.
These are the two.
He's
people
been
you're
put in the
voting
middle
for.
of this maddening race, and I appreciate your support. From
Yeah,
the
I'll
start,
make this
he's been
close.
very supportive of me. I've always been a big fan of Trev. I'm very supportive of Trev.
Yeah.
The
He's
haircut
like the-
whisperer, right?
He's like the
He
nicest
is.
guy ever.
That's incredible.
Yeah, well, I mean, air conditioner.
He's had issues.
No
and
big deal.
Struggles picking
With
mine, but
Maddie.
he's got me recently.
Weird.
He's now on board.
Weirdly enough, I've had a hard time with Maddie. I
but
don't know
he's
why.
but he's now been good with
I
me.
don't remember the last time I saw you, but as soon as you came in today, I was like, nice haircut.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And I
Thank you.
just got it yesterday.
He's got a keen eye.
That's like,
Yeah.
He's got a
that
keen
is-
eye.
You should try to
Very
turn that
observant.
into some.
So-
how can you
Go to
win
K-Days.
In solidarity.
You go to K-Days and you create a booth.
That's it.
He's got a guess if he had a haircut in the last 2 or 3 days.
Dustin can't
Turn
rip
this
us
into a
apart.
money
Yeah, no,
maker here.
never. No, never.
How do you, how
He's
can you
trying to
count
rip us
cards
apart.
with
Yes, he
that
is.
ability.
But-
Can you count cards in the way of haircuts?
no,
like
no.
you got to figure that out.
But
Monetize
He's gone up a little bit more.
Who is?
Trev is at now
It's over.
9:51.
Oh.
What's
and
your
Jay
Sally?
is at
What is your Sally
9:48.
gonna
So we
be?
got a
Are you gonna do the
3 difference.
heartbreaker?
So-
Oh,
Do
yeah,
the,
yeah.
the flip back of the hair.
Yeah, I know. I like the heartbreaker.
Do you like the heartbreaker?
Oh. Yeah, no, that's
The Connor Bedard?
Yeah.
At
Oh,
Jason
so good.
Milne
The
on
JPHL
Twitter.
kids love the heartbreaker.
Yeah.
They're all doing that. The
can you
selfie
not?
stick is a good one now, where you take the stick
It's
up
trending.
into the
I've seen
blade
that.
and you.
I've seen that.
Somebody did that last year. I
At-
love the sellies. I love them.
At YouTube_Trev. Those are the 2 Twitter accounts
Solidarity,
to follow.
Solidarity. Solidarity.
We'll see who gets the 1,000
hands.
first.
I'm not afraid to hold your
But the
hand.
boss of this building clearly shown his
boss is
favorites.
clearly
he
showing
played
his
his cards. He handed out his cards.
Reed just tweeted out yours.
Yeah, but he's not
know.
the boss.
yeah.
He's not the boss.
He's the boss.
That
like
next
Eric
staff
posted on in
meeting's gonna be
favor of you.
awkward.
Yeah, HR.
But, you're on that show with them. That would make sense. But when
This
it
is
comes
where
to
it sucks that
Dusty,
the HR person is Dustin's dad.
although you want to know something I've learned about Keith? One thing I've learned about Keith, he's pretty fair.
He is,
He's a
but he's
very
on
fair guy.
holidays. He's camping.
He'd be like the
Good for
dad
him.
in Big Daddy, when Adam Sandler's dad, they wanted to put him on the stand. He's like, I would never let my kid have it. We'll allow it.
Coming up next here on Edmonton Sports Talk, we got Lock Shop, Dusty, Huss. I think Pat Gregoire is going to be on as they'll get to their week 1 best bets for the NFL at noon. It's the Oil Stream, Tommy and Hernan Salas. 1 o'clock, it's EST Afternoons with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage. And at 3 o'clock, it is the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. Bears, Dinos tonight. 7
guys are
o'clock, Fault
rocking it.
Field, Green and Gold kickoff post-game shows tomorrow, Century Casino. That gets going at 4 o'clock. And on Sunday, it is the final episode of the year for the VIP Golf Show. Year 2 on EST, I think 6 overall. But the final VIP Golf Show Sunday at 8 for 2024. Dino, thanks for coming in.
Happy anniversary, guys. You guys
Thank you
have
very much.
crushed it over the last year, and I'm very happy
And
for
now
you.
you can finish your sandwich. On behalf of Tommy,
My pleasure.
Trev, Jay, Dino, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning into the EST Hangout. Coming up, it is the Lock Shop here on your clear choice for Edmonton Sports. Don't go anywhere.
Let's go.
There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Iwanyk and Tom Gazzola with here. Joining us today